Yo, what's popping, guys? How's it going? How's it going? How's it going? All right, dude, I am out of breath, bro. I have had such a long morning, bro. I've been doing so many things this morning, guys. One sec, one sec, one sec. All right, okay. So first of all, good morning, guys. Oh my goodness, what a market last night, bro. What the heck happened? Last night I didn't even bother trading Asia because I didn't think anything good was gonna pop on by, and it turns out that last night's Asia market happened to be one of the best markets for this whole week. My goodness. Wait, Google and Tesla earnings yesterday? No way. This is no delay, right? Yes, this is no delay. What? That was yesterday? For real? Anyways, okay. So, guys, coming into market open, we are getting a pretty interesting open. Now, we do have some nearby setups which I might just have to skip out on because I don't know. I looking at yesterday's market and looking at the how the volume was moving, I want to see. I want to be more careful with how the volume moves off open today. Um, so right now, coming to market open, we do have a pretty good setup, but I don't know. I kind of want to sit back on it and observe it. Because you guys know, I don't usually when I trade instantly coming to market open, it doesn't really go the best. Like it's very disorganized, or is that even a word? Unorganized, disorganized, or unorganized. Sorry, unorganized. It's very unorganized. Um, so yeah, I want to see how the first rally up actually ends up holding coming to market open. We are already bullish off the bat. We already took out two levels of liquidity nearby. One of which being I already took it out, which was at 707, like right over here, one of these two. And then we took out another one over here at 672 with a 5-minute bullish rally gap bounce. Right, so we are getting a little bit of good buying pressure here, which I'm considering taking this setup, but I don't want to take it in the first 10 minutes of market open, just because obviously we all know the first 10 minutes of market open is usually very crazy, very volatile, and so much more. So obviously it makes a trade a little bit messier. All right. So yeah. Now in the meantime, let me just go ahead and quickly put out here that I am live trading, so we can get this out of the way. Let me just wait a few more seconds before I do that. In the meantime, we can obviously let the market kind of wake up and tell us what it wants to do, whether it wants to reject, inverse, go up, go down, whatever the case may be. All right, guys. So yeah, in the meantime, hold on. Let me just actually make sure that everything is getting settled out. Now, wait, I keep saying now in the meantime, bro. My gosh. Anyways, so yeah, YouTube, what is going on, guys? I just opened up my YouTube chat over here. What is going on, guys? Welcome to the stream. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Now, someone here is asking, hey, Blast, what is the link to your premium? Here you go. I'm gonna go ahead and send it out over here in the YouTube chat. Just if you want to join, you're always welcome. All right, but with what is it? With open arms, open hands, open arms. Yeah, open arms. But yeah, anyways. So let me just quickly go ahead and put out here that I am live trading, just so everyone can know and obviously tune in, and hopefully we can get one last trade before the week ends, guys. All right. So yeah, like I said, I'm gonna be very careful with this setup. Although it looks amazing, it's literally an A plus. Oh, I'm not gonna say an A plus setup, right? We're still missing the MSS model, but it does look like a very, very good setup. Now, if you guys want to take it, by all means, go ahead. But for me, I think I might sit out of this setup for just a second, just because I just don't like trading the first few minutes of market open. Because, like I said, it's just very, very volatile and just very, very hectic. All right. But we are getting an inverse coming into market open here from a sweep at 672 with the 5-minute fair value gap bounce and all that good stuff. So this setup looks very, very promising, and I'm not gonna lie, I actually kind of want to take it. But I'm gonna sit back on it and hold back for just a few minutes, just because, like I said, I don't like trading the market open. Like I said, it's just too volatile, it's too hectic, it's too crazy, and too much happens. So if anything, I have more setups to the upside, which obviously with more price action, I would be a little bit more confident in taking them. All right, guys. So I'm gonna see how this one plays out. I'm pretty confident it should play out. But like I said, I'm just gonna hold back on this one just for a few minutes, just to see how the market actually opens. It's just part of my rules. All right, guys. So yeah, are you guys on MNQ? Yes, we are on MNQ. All right, bro. We are on MNQ. Now, guys, as once again, looking at the setup right here, we are currently inversing a 5 and 15-minute bearish rally gap with the deal sweep off of 672 and a 5-minute bullish rally gap bounce. So like I said, this setup looks amazing. All right, just once again, for those wondering why I'm not taking this setup, it's just because, once again, we are still in the first 5 minutes of market open, and I just don't feel super comfortable taking this trade. For those that don't know, obviously the first 5, 10, 15 minutes or so of market open is usually known to be one of the most volatile you get the most volume in the markets. So obviously, even if you have a very clean setup, any little pullback is not so little. All right. So I usually tend to hold back on these type of setups in the first 10 minutes or so of market open. And if we ever go back up, I mean, we have more setups up here, right? So right now, pretty much what I'm trying to see is just try to get an understanding of today's market, try to get a good read of today's market, and see, hey, are we going to be bullish? Are we going to be very trendy? Are we going to be choppy? And then this answer tells us whether we should or shouldn't be trading today. All right. So that's what I'm trying to identify right here with this current market, which obviously we are currently pumping up off this inverse. I mean, I wouldn't see why we wouldn't be pumping up here. All right, but you guys did see that little pullback that we got there for just a split second, which is over a 28-point pullback. Nothing crazy, but obviously, with this type of market, it could be very, very hectic. All right. So now, if we end up going higher and taking out all of these levels of liquidity to the upside, which by all of these levels, I just mean the one at 807, which isn't even all that strong. If we can take out this level of liquidity and hold above, we can probably look for another trade into the upside from this 15-minute right over here. Now, one thing that kind of concerns me a little bit could be the VWAP. Because it is going to be catching up into this 15-minute candle here. I mean, if we pump up with no questions asked and we just pump up with like no pullbacks, no nothing, then we could probably just take the trade off here and just target the VWAP. But if we do take some time where we get pullbacks, we chop a little bit, and just the market takes its own sweet time to get this an inverse off this 15-minute, if we even see it, then the VWAP can definitely catch up into this into the top of this fair value gap, which can kind of delay our entry or give us a very small price target, just like yesterday's trade. Well, I wouldn't really say yesterday's trade was a small price target, but you get the point. All right. Hey guys, like I said, for myself, I'm just gonna be just waiting for the next setup to come around, guys. Someone said here, do you trade any oil? No, I do not trade any oil. I only trade NQ and sometimes ES, but I don't even remember the last time I traded ES, to be honest. Let me see. There you go. But yeah, guys. So far we are approaching into this next 5 and 15-minute bullish rally gap. We are creating another gap here, which we could probably use, to our advantage, especially knowing that we just took out this liquidity up here. So once again, guys, obviously, this setup played out. Once again, I just didn't feel comfortable trading this. I don't like trading the first 5 or 10 minutes of market open. Like I said, it's just way too volatile for my liking. All right, but now that we took out this level of liquidity over here, we can probably work with something else as we head deeper into market open. All right. And what I mean by this is now that we took out this little mini liquidity area, and the only reason I'm actually even considering this a liquidity area is because we have 3 rejections from this area. They're not very strong rejections, although this one was kind of pretty strong. It's okay. You know what I mean? But what we can actually end up doing here is we can actually, now that we took out this liquidity at 807, we can actually start working with something down here, right? If we end up getting a bearish reaction. Right. Once again, it's kind of too early to tell what the market wants to do, whether it wants to be bullish the whole day or bearish the whole day. But we could definitely start getting a little bit of a glimpse as to what we should be expecting. All right. So what we can do here is delete this one. We kind of don't need that one. Well, we probably should leave it marked out just because I don't know, like the level of liquidity that we just took out right now, it's not the strongest. It's definitely pretty valid, but it's not the strongest. So just in case we do need to rely off 672, we could definitely still do that. But if we do end up getting a very strong rejection off of 807 back to the downside, what we can do here is probably look for a 5-minute inverse from this fresh fair value gap that we just created, like not even 10 minutes ago, and look to possibly inverse it into the New York low that we just created at 28,567, or not, 657, sorry. And then we can look to inverse to other fair value gaps. And if we end up taking this inverse here, we could probably look to target about over 70 points to the downside, which is not bad. Obviously, that's if we get a deal, we'll sweep here. Right now, we tried rejecting off of this 807 drawn liquidity, which it kind of still seems like we're trying to do it. But we're going to see the reaction in the next few minutes. If we hold above, we can remain bullish and probably just inverse this fair value gap on the 15-minute. But if we end up getting rejected from this 807 level all the way back down into the New York low, we could definitely look to target it by taking this 5-minute bullish inverse here, which would not be bad. Now, the only thing that would be bad with this trade would be the stop loss. Because if we want to be using a structured based stop loss, we're going to have to use a 1-to-1 because this stop loss right here would be a little bit too wide. It'll be over 80 points, considering the fact that we get a perfect entry, which we're obviously not going to. Right. So if anything, if our first price target is only going to be 68 points, we could probably just use more of like a 70-point stop loss and kind of just base it off that. Either way, it's pretty much near our level of liquidity. So it's kind of the same story. But yeah, we can go ahead and do something like that. That's obviously if we get a rejection off 807. All right. Someone said here, why has the market been so choppy since Monday? I wouldn't really call this choppy, especially last night, bro. Last night's market was insane, bro. My friend told me that he took a trade last night and he passed his funded account. Because for those that don't know, I don't know if you guys saw the promotion yesterday, but Apex ended up releasing the OG legacy accounts, the 25k, 50k, 100k, 150k, 250k, and the 300k accounts. They re-released them again for a limited time. Which, by the way, if you guys want to get them, they are 90% off with code Blastoise. The code is on the screen. But my friend ended up trading them last night, and he actually ended up passing some accounts with last night's market. Which, once again, he told me about it. I'm like, bro, what do you mean you pass your account like during Asia? I opened up the markets, and it turned out to be one of the best markets I've seen in a very long time, right? So I did definitely get a little bit of FOMO. But yeah, bro, yesterday's market and today's open have been pretty clean. I wouldn't really say they're too choppy, but yeah, yesterday's market was definitely choppy. During yesterday's New York session, someone said here, do those have unlimited payouts? Yes, they do. They do not have the six payout limit. All right. What is the benefit on those accounts? In my opinion, I feel like okay, so the legacy accounts have a lot more drawdown. About $500 more than the 50Ks with the new rules. They don't have a daily loss limit. They don't have a payout limit. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? As far as that goes, I mean, those are kind of some pretty big benefits. I'm sure there's other benefits. I just obviously can't recall them. Um, but but yeah, they have some pretty good benefits. Let me tell you guys. You know what I mean? But yeah. Blast the indicator just ripped TP3. Yeah, dude, it probably took this 5-minute inverse here. Once again, it was a very, very clean setup. Once again, I just didn't take it for myself just because obviously I just don't like trading the market open. I have a very, very bad experience with it. But on the bright side, we are getting a buttload of buying pressure here. So what we can look to do here is possibly just look to just enter longs from this 15-minute bearish rally gap inverse here. Not only do we inverse the 5-minute down here, the 15-minute here, another 5-minute and 15-minute here, but if we get more buying pressure, we can actually look to inverse yet another 15-minute bearish rally gap. So we can probably look to take a trade off that. Even if it's for a quick scalp for what 50 points to the VWAP, bro, I will take it. You know what I mean? Now, unfortunately, yet again, our stop loss is going to be a little bit of an issue coming, into this trade here. Mainly because our nearest level of liquidity will be all the way down here at 807 when our entry price is going to be near 915. All right. So yeah, obviously we're not going to be using a 100+ point stop loss. So if anything, we could just resort to more of a 1-to-1 risk reward into the, I would say maybe into the VWAP or maybe even into the drawn liquidity, which would be about 70 points. So we could probably do something like this. Assuming that we don't have a 5-minute. It's too big. I was gonna say, assuming we don't have a 5-minute fair value gap, which we are gonna be having right over here, because what I would have done instead is, if we were to inverse this 15-minute gap and the market tends to have a pullback into the 5-minute gap, we could just place our stop loss at the inverse of the 5-minute. But the thing is, the 5-minute will just be too big of a stop loss at 97 points, which is not very ideal. So if anything, we could just resort to a 1-to-1 off 70 points and we just size light. Worst comes to worst, we just re-enter, and then just take obviously the bounce off the 5-minute if it goes a little bit lower than our stop loss, right? Assuming the worst, of course. Right. So anyways, in the meantime, what I'm going to go ahead and do is just type up the alert just in case we do end up taking NQ longs. Let me just type this up. Just, obviously I'm as prepared as possible. Once again, guys, I'm a little bit more bummed out that I didn't take the longs off this right here. It was a pretty clear setup. Just obviously I need to respect my rules because more times than not, I do end up getting stopped out off market open, and I always have to work with a re-entry just because, price is so aggressive. Obviously, that wasn't the case today, but yeah, we can always just move on to the next setup. It's not too big of a deal. All right, so anyways, if you do end up taking longs here, we can have a few price targets to the upside. PT1 obviously being the main price target, being at the VWAP here. Then we could target the drawn liquidity at 985. Then we could target the next drawn liquidity. No. Actually, we could target the fair value gap instead of the drawn liquidity at 29,002. And then we could target the liquidity at 29,072. That's if we take longs, of course. 72.50. And then we could just, I guess, no, we already have 4 price targets. I don't want to have too many. So yeah, obviously we could target more, but the main PTs will probably just be like this. Now, obviously, that's assuming we hold bullish, right? Assuming we get the 5-minute pullback. We hold the 5-minute and everything. Now, if we want to go back down below the drawn liquidity at 807, we could still resort to this 5-minute inverse back down into the New York low. It is not a bad idea. All right, now let me catch up with the chat here. We're trading NQ, correct? Yes, we are trading NQ. To be exact, we're actually trading M and Q. I'm charting NQ, but I always trade M and Q. All right. What is a legacy account? A legacy account is, well, I've kind of already explained it. I'm pretty sure this is just an old message, but for those that don't know, legacy accounts are just the old accounts from back in the days when Apex was, before the new rules. All right, guys. But yeah. Once again, if you guys want to try them out, I personally feel like they have a lot more of a benefit in the rules. So if you guys do want to try them out, I mean, they are 90% off. They're like $15 if you guys want to try them for the evals. So you guys can always use code Blasters. It is on top of the screen if you guys want to try them. If not, you can always just trade on the accounts with the new rules. It really depends on the type of trader that you are and obviously, how you trade. Anyways, so yeah, we're still waiting to see if we can get this inverse here. Now, obviously, if we're gonna hold below 807, we can just go back bearish into a 5-minute inverse down here. That's also a possibility. All right. But yeah, in the meantime, let me just kind of just put this like I would say hold above this DOL equals bullish bias, and then we could just do the same case down here off of this line here, which I'll just redraw, which would be just be this drawn liquidity down here. Now, price at the moment does look pretty aggressive. We are getting some pretty aggressive selling candles or like little push downs. They're obviously not holding because obviously the candle kind of looks like a doji candle, or almost, not all the way. But yeah, sellers are definitely trying to step in here, obviously from this 15-minute bullish rally gap retracement. But yeah, we're trying to see what we can do here because sellers are trying to step in. The best thing that could happen here is obviously sellers continue trying to step in, and then obviously if we're able to flip this candle from red to green, this just shows us that obviously buyers regained the control and sellers are out of the picture. And this also shows us that sellers had the seller exhaustion, which means that everyone trying to sell the markets tried their best. They saw it wasn't really working, and they just stopped trying to sell the markets, which allowed buyers to regain the control and make the markets pump up, right? So it's actually a really good thing now that we are getting a pullback here and not here when we enter, if we enter, of course, right? But we're gonna see. Right now we are getting okay. So sellers are obviously stepping in a little bit more aggressively. We are going back down below 807. Obviously, a hold below 807, I would turn bearish, into a 5-minute inverse here into the New York low. All right, guys. Now if you do look at the higher time frame, like the 15-minute, 30-minute, or hourly time frame, this is simply just a pullback. All right, or it looks like a pullback. Obviously, if we end up holding below the drawn liquidity, although we did hit the objective down here, if you go back down 807, I mean not 807, if we go back down 672, then obviously the markets can start getting very, very bearish. So we can either look to enter here or make short to work here or even down here. All right, but that only is confirmed once we break below the previous low, which would be at 657, which will confirm the lower low. Obviously, right now it's a little bit hard to tell because we're in the middle of two levels, which determines our bias. All right, so obviously let's give the market a few more minutes to see what it wants to do. But in the meantime, a hold below 807 with the 15-minute bearish fair value gap projection, we could probably look to take some shorts off this right here. All right, so in the meantime, while we hold below this, I'm actually going to delete this game plan. Obviously, I'll have it on standby just in case we go back up, right? But let me see here. Let me just delete this. Okay, so that's for longs. Okay, so if we end up taking NQ shorts, which actually have to be pretty quick because we are dumping pretty hard here, we could definitely look to take some shorts to the downside off of this 5-minute inverse here. Okay, I have to be very quick actually. Oh my gosh. Okay. So, okay. Actually, I have to be really, really fast here. So 657, I guess, will be our first PT. Then we could just target the 5-minute fair value gap lower, which will be all the way down here. We are getting a lot of selling aggression, so I have to be very quick by typing up this alert because I don't want to be late to the entry if we do end up getting it. So 28,578 would be our next price target, which would be the 5-minute fair value gap test. And then our final PT could be at 408.25, which would be the drawn liquidity. All right. So you could probably have a trade like that. Now, we could just base our stop loss, since we can't use the level of liquidity as our stop loss. We could just base our stop loss either off of fair value gap here, which actually wouldn't be bad. I don't know how big of a stop loss it would be. Honestly, 72 points. I was actually looking to have a 72-point stop or a 70-point stop loss because our first PT is about 70 points. So that actually wouldn't be too bad. So we can just place our stop loss at the top. I mean, at the inverse of the bearish rally gap. All right, so we could just label this 5-minute bearish FEG, and then we could just label this 5-minute bullish FEG. 5-minute bullish FEG. There you go. Well, the fair value gap might be gone, but how big are you sizing for this trade? I might do, I don't know, the price today seems pretty aggressive. I might just stick to doing 5 micros today. But I'll see as we head closer and closer. Don't worry, I will let you guys know when I'm going to be sizing, and I'll let you guys know if the trade is a little bit riskier or a little bit more aggressive, to the point where I suggest you guys to also size light. All right. But yeah, I'll let you guys know. I need to see how we kind of dump this down to see how the aggression is looking like as we head closer and closer to the entry. But for them, in the meantime, it does look really, it looks like a good aggressive. Like it's clean, it's going in one direction. I like, You know what I mean? At the moment, we are basing our trade off of a 15-minute bearish fair value gap projection. A DOL sweep below this. So actually, I'll put here, hold below this DOL equals bearish bias. We are getting green to red candle flips, which shows us that sellers are in control and they are very aggressive off the drawn liquidity. We do have room for lower into the New York low. We have an entry model right here off the 5-minute. We do have more room for lower as well, and then more room as well here. The VWAP is nowhere nearby either, so it looks like, in my opinion, a pretty good setup. All right, guys. So yeah, let me just get this ready. You know, get ready for the entry, guys, because we are approaching it. All right, guys. So let's see what we can snipe here. All right, guys. Now from the looks of it, yeah, I'm gonna probably just do 5 micros. So yeah. All right, guys. Start hovering over the sell button and see if we can make some shorts work here. All right, guys. We haven't inversed the fair value gap just yet, but we are getting very close to it. So just be ready. All right, guys. All right, yeah, just hover over the sell button here. Is the inverse? Can we get an impulse below it though? Hold it, hold it, hold it. Hold it, guys. Hold it. Not yet, not yet. Sellers do look aggressive though, so I'm pretty confident with this trade, but I do need an impulse below the fair value gap. That just shows me that sellers are very strong at a buyer territory, which would be obviously the bullish imbalance. I'll let you guys know once I'm in. Just hover over the sub button just so you guys are ready. I just want to make sure that all my alerts are set up correctly. What should be at New York low, 25, and then 408. Yeah, perfect. All right, perfect. Yeah. So yeah, I'm still waiting for an impulse below this, guys. Yes, we did inverse the fair value gap, but we didn't really get the impulse that showed us that sellers are aggressive below the fair value gap, which is the one confirmation that we do need. All right, so we're still waiting on that, guys. It doesn't mean that the setup is over, but obviously it just means that we haven't entered just yet. All right, guys. So we're still waiting here. We are still waiting. Worst comes to worst, we can always just re-enter off the next candle anyways. Or not re-enter. Look for the entry off the next candle if this one doesn't end up holding. Now, on the bright side, we don't have to worry about the VWAP, which is an amazing sign. I'm not going to say I hate having to deal with the VWAP, but I definitely don't like when it's nearby. Because it can make the trade a little bit more tricky. Now, in the meantime, I actually haven't looked over at ES either. ES is actually holding a little bit more bullish here. Unless we took a look. No, yeah, actually, ES is holding a little bit more bullish here. Now, I'm sure if we get more selling pressure, we can hold below the liquidity at 453. Which, by the way, I don't have any levels marked on ES. Not that it's too important. The market is very aggressive today anyways. But yeah. So yeah, so far, guys, no entry yet. We are getting a pump back above into the other fair value gap. So I guess we just can't base our stop loss off this fair value gap because we're not holding it. But once again, guys, we are not in the trade just yet. We're still waiting for an impulse below this. But the thing is now that we inverse this fair value gap, we're kind of on a race against time. Because if we don't inverse this fair value gap in the next trade, then the trade is kind of over. I like to give myself a redemption for this trade to see if we can enter, you know, if it ends up inversing it and then we bounce back up before the impulse, right? I always allow the markets, you know, I give the markets one more candle to see if we can push it back down. If we don't push it back down, then I just skip on the setup and I just delete this setup. All right, guys. So even though right now we are currently bouncing, which by the way, guys, we did not enter. Once again, we always need to wait for an impulse below the fair value gap, right? Right now we are pumping up. So once again, if we want to pump back up above 807, we can go back bullish easily. But if we still are considering shorts here, we need this candle to dump all the way back down, which in my opinion doesn't really look like it's going to do that because buyers regain the control. All right, so for now, we can always put the setup on the side. Well, yeah, I wouldn't really say put the setup on the side. It's kind of, you know, it's kind of gone. I mean, we kind of inverse the fair value gap, so there's not much more to really inverse to the downside anymore. So we can delete this for now since we didn't end up entering. And we can, if we're going to go back down, we could always just base our entries off of these fair value gaps anyways, or unless we make one on the way down. All right, but I'm going to keep an eye on this setup right here. If we hold above 807, then sure, I'll be pretty bullish. But right now, as price dances around 807, obviously you guys are going to hear me say, hey, I'm bullish, hey, I'm bearish, hey, I'm bullish, hey, I'm bearish very constantly until price actually trends above or below this drawn liquidity, which it's kind of struggling. So we're going to see. Once again, I'm still giving this candle a redemption, right? If we're able to push this back down into the 720s, then I'll consider an entry. But if this candle struggles and actually shows us more buying pressure, then we're going to have to work with this 15-minute instead. Or we just won't have a setup to the downside. Well, we do, but it's further away. So yeah, we're going to see what we do here. But yeah, hopefully this candle could dump us down. We still have 4 minutes left into this candle. So fingers crossed we can get some more selling pressure so we can actually find the entry here. But if not, then we just skip on the setup and we just wait for the next. All right. So once again, I'm still open to this setup. Now, as far as stop losses go, it's going to be a little bit tricky because we were basing our stop loss from the 5-minute bearish rally gap, which we actually ended up filling. So yeah, that's going to be a little bit tricky to find the next stop loss. I mean, we could just always do a 1-to-1, which would be about 70 points. So we could just do like more, it's kind of the same stop loss, to be honest, something like this. So yeah, something like this, and we are surprisingly dumping down. I'm not sure why we got a pump here after we inverse the fair value gap, but if we want to pump it back down, I mean dump it back down, and we didn't get an entry, shit, I'm off for shorts. You know what I mean? Because this could have simply just been a re-entry if we would have taken it off, without waiting for the impulse, right? But yeah, guys, we are still dumping down here, which is an amazing sign. So yeah, let's see if we can just work with an entry off the next impulse right here. I'm not sure why we pumped up, but shit. Hey, at least we saved ourselves from a loss by waiting for the impulse. I always tell you guys this. When you guys look to take an inverse trade, always make sure that you confirm that the volume is there by waiting for an impulse below the fair value gap. All right, guys. So we waited for that. We skipped on our loss, and now we could possibly get another entry with the selling pressure stepping in very aggressively yet again. All right, so guys, so now start hovering over the sell button. I'll let you guys know if I end up entering. I'll probably just look for an entry below the previous candle low, which would be at 718. So a good strong break below 718. I'll probably just click the button and just enter shorts. All right, guys, and the stop loss will be the same at 799. All right. Let's see if we can cook up some shorts here. Sellers still look pretty aggressive. Once again, I'm kind of confused as to why we got this random buying candle, especially after we inversed the fair value gap. But hey, at least we didn't take any trades, you know what I mean, at the time. But let's see if we can get an entry this time. Once again, I'm looking for a break below 718. All right, below 718, I'm in. All right, I'm in. 712. I got to fill at 712, guys. 28, 712 is my entry. 7, 8, 7, 12. Wait, no, 7, 8, 7, 12. 28, 7, 12. Sorry, guys. Yeah, guys, I'm going to be targeting the New York low right down here. This is going to be my main price target at 28,657. Yeah, selling pressure looks really aggressive. Anyways, by the way, guys, once again, my stop loss will be placed at 799. Okay, guys, 799 will be my stop loss. So buy 5, stop there. All right, guys, 799. Hopefully we can hold this inverse the second time around. Hopefully the price isn't getting very weak or very choppy around this area, because once again, we did see a random pump from the previous candle. I'm not sure why or where this pump came from, but the next candle we dumped it down, which is a little bit confusing. Hopefully this doesn't give us any false positives with this setup. Once again, it looks really good. We're below the fair value. I mean, we're getting a 15-minute fair value projection, an MSS model here, as you guys see right here. We have the MSS model right here. We have good selling pressure, pressure. We have good selling momentum. We have room for lower. We're bearish. I don't see why we pumped up here. Maybe it was to form the MSS model just like yesterday's trade. That could have been the case. All right. But yeah, we're going to see how this ends up holding. Yeah, guys, my main target for this trade will be the New York low sitting at 657. All right, guys. 657 will be my main. Oh, by the way, it's 10 o'clock, so we're going to get a nice spike in the market. It's the macro time. Hopefully it's not to the upside, but we're going to see. Now, let me keep an eye on ES here, because ES is still, although we are bearish on NQ, ES is still sitting a little bit more bullish due to a hold above 453. So hopefully this doesn't really make us have any trouble behind the trade. Hopefully it doesn't, especially if we get a green to red candle flip. That just shows us that sellers are very aggressive and they are in control. But we're going to see. All right, guys, right now we are getting a little bit of a push here due to the 10 a.m. macro time. So we can see how this candle actually ends up holding. Once again, guys, my stop loss will be placed at 799. If the trade doesn't end up holding, then we just move on to the next trade. You know, no big deal. All right. But yeah. Now, in the meantime, let me actually start writing this out just in case. If we get a green to red candle flip, this is literally going to be a perfect confirmation, especially if ES is able to hold is able to hold below 453, guys. So yeah, if we're able to get a green to red, I'm pretty confident we should be able to see the price target. I just don't see what more could really hold us back. Once again, we inverse the fair value gap. We have nothing here until our price target, which is going to be the New York low. So, and we just, buyers tried regaining control, and obviously sellers stepped back in and literally told them, hey, that's not happening, or at least for now. Right? We still need to flip this candle from green to red to get full confirmation. All right, guys. So we're still waiting on this. The main confirmation here for lower would just be a hold below 453 on ES for the SMT. But on the bright side, NQ looks a lot stronger to the downside, or at least it seems like. It is more bearish. We have our bearish confirmations, MSS models, and all that good stuff. So we need to see how this candle ends up holding. Hopefully, it is a green to red candle, which confirms that we should be able to see the price target. But so far, we're kind of just holding near the entry, so we're a little bit iffy. And we're still near the area where we kind of just randomly bounce from. So I'm a little bit skeptical on this area. If we're able to break past the previous candle low, we should be good. But this area, I don't know, we keep getting like these random little bounces here and here. So hopefully this is not like a little secret buyer territory where buyers are trying to step in, with their hardest, and it stops us out. All right. But from the looks of it, once again, the main confirmation that we need to break below is 453 over on ES. We need to break below this low. All right. And hold below it to confirm bearish, because NQ is bearish, but ES is holding a little bit more bullish. All right, guys, mainly off the 15-minute time frame. If you guys scroll back, we have a little mini pullback right over here. Not the craziest pullback, but it still is there. All right, so we need to see how we hold below this low here. All right. Yeah, hopefully we can hold this candle. Price is still pretty aggressive, by the way, guys. So hopefully we can hold this candle from green to red, which will just confirm that we should be able to see the price target. It will just confirm that sellers are there and they are stepping in, and they invalidated buyers from stepping in. All right, so we need to see how this holds. Where's the stop loss at? It's placed at 799. Everything is on the screen. All right, guys. You've been giving me anxiety talking so fast, bro. I'm trying to talk calm. I don't know if you guys have noticed these last few days. I've been talking a little bit more calm. Because dude, sometimes I deadass sound like I'm on crack, bro. But yeah, no, lately I've been a little bit more calm because I've been so like, I don't know, I feel a little bit burnt out, if I'm being honest with you guys. We've been working on the website, bro. So much stress, so much things to keep in control. So yeah, bro. I'm really hoping that this trade plays out so I can go into the weekend just relaxing and just chilling so I can be refreshed for next week, bro. But yeah, we'll see. Like I said, guys, worst comes to worst with this trade. If we end up struggling to hold 807, we can always go back bullish and just look to inverse this 15-minute gap above, anyways. So yeah, it's not a big deal if this trade doesn't end up working out. I really hope it does, but we will see. Because like I said, there's just something about this area here. Although we are getting the inverse and we are bearish, that buyers just keep stepping in around this area right over here. I'm not sure why. Because once again, we are inversing the fair value gap. There's no more liquidity down here unless there's one on the 1 minute. No, literally nothing. I don't know why buyers keep stepping in around this inverse. Once again, in my opinion, they shouldn't be stepping in, but I don't see why. But if that ends up being the case, then so be it. You know what I mean? We just move on to the next setup. It's not a big deal, right? But I really do want to see this New York low get taken out at least before we see higher, right? So maybe this is just a little bit of a choppy range, maybe a little bit of a pullback before we see lower, or maybe it's just a choppy range like yesterday. Fingers crossed it's not, because yesterday's trade was a big headache, right? But the main concern that I have is just mainly just ES holding above 453. I guess that's like the only reason why NQ is holding a little bit more bullish, because obviously ES is not allowing it to go down. All right, so that's what I'm trying to. I keep saying like, hey, I need a nice rejection into a hold below 453 on ES, so we can see lower on NQ. We tried getting a green to red candle flip, but it just didn't hold. I'm not sure why. Like I said, there's just a lot of buying pressure around this area, even though we did end up getting the 5-minute inverse, which just doesn't make sense to me. But I guess we'll see. I mean, we just gotta see how the trade ends up holding. And see, someone's here. It's because there's a rejection block in the demand zone. But it's bearish, so it shouldn't hold. That's what I'm saying. So I mean, we are getting close to the stop loss, so I'm probably gonna get out of this trade anyways. Very very soon, guys. Worst comes to worst, if we hold below, I mean, if we hold above 807, I can always just go back bullish above this 15-minute inverse and just look for another entry. But yeah, if this doesn't end up holding up, then it's it's totally fine. We can just move on to the next setup. But yeah, guys, once again, my stop loss is placed at 799. So if this doesn't hold, on to next. All right, guys. Hopefully it does end up holding, but right now we are getting a lot of buying pressure around this area, which I do agree with you guys. There is a very nice demand zone here. Obviously, we have like a million bounces around this area. So I guess that is why buyers are trying their best to step in. Worst comes to worst, I just look for a re-entry. No big deal. I did size that with this trade. But yes, guys, I did end up getting stopped out of this trade. Very unfortunate. Really good setup, but I just didn't end up holding. I guess Nathan was pretty right. We are in a pretty big demand zone. All right, guys. So, I mean, like I said, worst comes to worst, if we go back above 807, we just look for another trade into the upside. Or we can always just base a re-entry, which I wouldn't really see a re-entry off of this area. I'm not going to force it there. But anyways, let me just alert that I got stopped out, guys. Pretty good trade. I'm not too mad about it. But yeah, I guess we just took shorts in an area where buyers were a little bit more aggressive, even though they didn't really show too much aggression around this area. But yeah, guys, first loss in a minute. All right, guys. Like I said, I'm not going to re-enter off this area if we go back down. If we do end up going back down, I'll just wait for the trade to hit the price target, and then we just base our buys from the drawn liquidity down here. All right, guys. But yeah, really good trade. I actually absolutely love this setup. It just didn't end up holding. What can you do about it? Until next. You can't win them all. All right, guys. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and delete this setup right over here. We're not going to be taking it anymore. I'm not going to be looking for a re-entry off of it anyways. Worst comes to worst, now if we did end up getting stopped out due to buyers stepping in, hopefully we do end up getting a hold above 807. Excuse me, I have a lot of hiccups. And if we do end up getting a hold above 807 with good buying pressure, we could probably just look to break above the VWAP and break above the 15-minute inverse and probably just look for some longs into these drawn liquidities above, including the fair value gaps. Obviously, we got to give the market a little bit more time to see what it does, but in the meantime, we can always just wait it out and see. All right, guys. Plus, it gives us more time to buy to see what the market wants to do. All right, guys. So yeah. But in the meantime, I'm gonna give the market a little bit more time. Hopefully, like I said, if we're gonna end up getting stopped out due to buying pressure, we might as well just hold above 807 and get that bullish bias yet again. All right, guys. So we're gonna wait and see. All right, guys. We are gonna wait and see. And bro, dude, I just got the alert. Bro, even Karabi tried taking this trade. What the heck? He was starting the New York low as well. Once again, longs looked really good. I don't know if we're just in a very volatile yet a very choppy area, or maybe just the market is trying to hold this demand zone from all the way over here, which I don't really trade supply and demand anyways, but I do see what Nathan was saying. We do have a lot of bounces around this area, which buyers are probably trying to step into. Once again, right now we are getting another rejection. We are still pretty bearish below 807, which looking at it now, we probably should have placed our stop loss at 807 itself, but it was just going to be too wide of a stop loss anyways. So in the meantime, if the trade does want to run lower, that's complete fine. I'm not going to look for a re-entry here. I'm just going to let the price target get hit, which is going to be the drawn liquidity. And depending on the reaction from the drawn liquidity, we can always just base our new bias and then just get another setup. It's not a big deal. All right, guys. But yeah, it sucks to see that once again, we got stopped out due to a random price target, which is just a 1-to-1 risk reward price target, rather than just putting our stop loss at the drawn liquidity at 807. Because we placed it there, we would have been green at the moment. Right? And obviously, the trade is running down to the price target. So once again, like I said, this setup was absolutely amazing. And it looked really, really good. Just a very unfortunate loss with the bad stop loss placement. We should have just placed it at 807 there. I always make that mistake, bro. I always use a 1-to-1 risk reward when the stop loss is too far away from the drawn liquidity. And it always stops me out when the trade still remains bearish and obviously runs lower into the price target. So for the next trade, we'll know just to use a better stop loss at the drawn liquidity instead. Even if it's a far stop loss, it'll just give us the actual room to breathe in the trade. All right, guys. But yeah, for now, I'm gonna hold off on the market. I'm gonna wait for it to take out 657, and then we go from there. So in the meantime, I guess I can chill with you guys in the chat. That's why I don't really like point-based stop losses, dude. I hate them, bro. But sometimes I just have to do it because if I'm using a stop loss base, not stop loss, a drawn liquidity based stop loss, sometimes the drawn liquidity is so far away that it just doesn't make the risk reward all that good to take. So yeah. Someone say here $250 left in drawdown because of this moron. My gosh, dude. Bro, you guys never fail to fucking disappoint, bro. My goodness, dude. Anyways, I was green on the 629 retracement. It happened so quick that when you called it was too late, and I made $129 times 7 accounts. Yeah, once again, this setup was not bad. We got an inverse, we got a bearish bias, good for value gap projection, and so much more. But I don't want to say that price is choppy, although it does look a little bit indecisive. Yeah, price. I want to wait for it to take out 657 and then we go from there. But yeah, don't listen to them. Don't worry. Anytime a loss comes around, people always say something. It was a good trade, like I said. Just unfortunate loss. We should have definitely placed a stop loss at 807 though. At the drawn liquidity instead of a point-based stop loss. Dude, your stop loss actually messes up. Not cool to laugh at. If you feel like you have a problem with the stop loss, either size lighter or just don't use the same stop loss. Like, bro. What more can I do, bro? And keep in mind, guys, this only comes around when one loss comes around, bro. Like, bro. Anyways, no one is forcing you to take the trade that Blast is taking. Exactly, bro. Like, if you once again, guys, if you don't agree with the stop loss, just either use your own stop loss, size lighter, or just don't take the trade, bro. Common sense. Big D, we would have been green. Yes, dude. We should have probably put our stop loss at 807 instead. I mean, we had a stop loss at 799. We might as well just we should have just used like a 10 point extra stop loss at 807, and we would have still been in the trade with a proper stop loss at the drawn liquidity instead. David, you piece of shit. My wife left me, bro. I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry, bro. If my kids are beating me up for this loss, all right, bro. But no, like I said, guys. Either way, right now the market is in a little bit. Like I said, I don't want to say it's choppy. The volume is good. Obviously, we don't have that much of a clean momentum, but we could definitely just wait to see 657 get taken out, and then we go with the new bias. Obviously, it could take a little bit of a while because obviously, what's it called? Market's a little bit indecisive here, but yeah. David, do you recommend holding it straight if we're still in? Well, technically, yes. Well, if you're still in, yeah, fuck it. I mean, you might as well. But if you're still in, I would just say put your stop loss at 807, 807.50, because that's where your drawing liquidity is being based off of. So if you go back above 807, then yes, you should get out because the bias is turning back bullish. But if you're still holding below 807, technically the trade is technically still valid, although it's not the prettiest because obviously price is a little bit choppy here. Technically, 807 is still pretty valid. All right, now, like I said, guys, if we want to go ahead and break out of this choppy range and start trending a little bit more to the upside, back above 807, we can look for a 15-minute for value gap inverse off of this, plus a VWAP breakout into the drawn liquidity above. Right now, obviously, it's a little bit hard to tell because price is so indecisive and a little bit more choppy. You know what I mean? But either we take out the drawn liquidity down here and we base our bias off this, whether we want to go lower or higher, or if we want to go above 807, we just look for an inverse off this. Someone said this is what happens when kids trade. Bro. Let me see. Someone said here they're always bitching though. I don't hear that shit when you're winning. Yeah, bro, it's normal, dude. I try not to read the chat when a loss comes around, bro, because it gets really annoying. Keep in mind, guys, it was literally one loss with light size. It's not a big deal, but just move on to the next setup. Why people so rude? It's just the internet, bro. It's how it is. Once again, the people's biggest thing is not being able to hold themselves accountable. And yeah, look, for example, Mr. Sauce Man Scotty, light size LMFAO. Mr. Sauce, if you don't mind me asking, can you show us what you size with this trade? I can literally bet literally anything that he probably did more than 10 micros. And then he's the one here saying, "Oh, yo, I'm bought my account." I can bet you guys. It's just chopped. Dude, yes, this market is like I said, I'm still willing to trade it. Um, but I need to take out something here, dude. I refuse to take anything here. Look, not even a re-entry. You guys know typically if I get stopped out, I usually re-enter. You didn't say anything about sizing light, dude. I said it like more than 10 times, bro. Like, bro, do you want me to put up the stream? It's literally all recorded, bro. Bro. And then you guys say don't laugh, bro. Like, dude, what more can I do? Dave, I'm kind of homeless. Why you laughing, bro? Bro, your speed, bro. Nah, but I'm sure another setup will come around, but we just need like a little bit of a better market, bro. So in the meantime, we just wait it out. David, you should use order flow. It's if you know how to read candles, bro, it's kind of the same thing. You can use liquidity to know where price is sitting at, and that's the way I've traded for years. Yeah, order flow could help, but it doesn't really make the strategy like invincible. So yeah, it's just like an extra thing. You know what I mean? I lost my house in that trade. You should have said to size light. All right. Once again, guys, we can't win them all. Once again, like I said, I'm not mad about this loss. You guys don't hear me crying about it. You know what I mean? So, like once again, this loss it was a good trade. Once again, we had a 15-minute bear strategy projection, a good sweep, good room for lower, good selling aggression, good selling pressure, good inverse, and once again, we had room for lower. We did see some good on the trade, but I just don't know why we bounced off of this area twice here. Yes, I did make a little bit of a mistake here. I should have just placed my stop loss at 807 instead. So I can actually have a structured base stop loss rather than just a random point based stop loss. So I'll definitely know for next time. And I always make the same mistake. It's just I don't want to be giving you guys too big of a stop loss either. Even though I know that sometimes a 60-point stop loss is pretty aggressive, I just don't want to keep making it bigger and bigger every single time. So yeah, if we would have taken this trade and put our stop loss at 807, it would have been a little bit costly, which I just don't want you guys to do. So yeah, but if we would have placed it there, technically this trade is still valid because our bias still remains bearish. All this was here was just a pretty big pullback into our stop loss. David, should I get off? I'm still green on the week. It's up to you, bro. I'm gonna try to cook up another trade. Don't worry, bro. I'm not gonna force anything out or anything. I still feel pretty confident. I just need a better market condition right now, to see what we can do here. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I'm gonna stay on for a little bit longer and see if I can cook up another setup here, even if it's off of the wall sweep here, off of a fair value gap bounce. We could probably get some longs cooking up. But in the meantime, I can't really see anything. The market is still pretty choppy, so I'm gonna give the market a bit of time, whether it's a few minutes or an hour or two or whatever, and see if it wants to cook up a nice trend. And worst comes to worst, last night's Asia was pretty good. Hopefully today's the same case. I don't know if it's gonna be because the New York session is pretty buns, but yeah. I think we're still reacting to those levels from Monday the 20th. Monday, what do we have on Monday? Yeah, we still are. I mean, we're at least we're trying to. The thing is, I'm currently basing my buys from the recent one, which is at 807. You know, speaking of VIX, because I'm reading Anthony's chat here in the Discord chat. Why do people use VIX? Isn't it the same thing as the S&P 500, just the opposite? Or does it provide like extra levels? I've always wondered, bro. Because I've always known about VIX and how people use that as an extra confluence, but I've looked at it and it's literally the same thing, just opposite of. It's a volatility index? For real? Volatility S&P. What the heck happened here? Yeah, the thing is, I just don't see why people use it or how people use it. I've always wondered. If VIX is trending up clearly, you might see ES trending down. Yeah, but why do you need VIX to understand that ES is trending down? If you look at ES and it's going down, then it's probably just trending down. That's the thing I don't understand. Like, what confluence does VIX provide to the markets, or I mean to the strategy? It's a confluence for the trend. I guess, yeah. Because if you look at VIX, if it's a volatility index, you could see how the volume is moving. But the thing is, if you know how to read candles, do you really need VIX? I mean, people also base position size off like how? Like what does that provide? I don't really understand. David, do you have a live account? No, I used to have a live account like years back, but I feel like I make more money with prop firms. When VIX approaches swing highs and lows, it bounces and rejects hard, and that translates to heavy volatility to the S&P. I guess, but can't you just use ES levels to understand that same concept? Yo, is it raining? No, shot. Hold up. Oh shit, yo guys, I'll be back, bro. I left my hood open. Oh shit, hold up. All right, guys, I'm back, and we did nothing. Dude, I left my freaking Honda hood open, and the water was getting inside of the exhaust. It doesn't do anything, but because it goes out through the turbo anyways, I don't like the water getting in. Okay, so someone said here, apparently RP says if VIX is dumping, yes, it's gonna go bullish. Well, you don't need VIX. That's the thing. Like, I get it that there's strategy behind it, but if you're using VIX to understand the trend on ES, why not just look at ES and just say, hey, ES is going down? Isn't that just common sense? Because I get it. Like, people, yeah, I see what you guys are saying. You guys are using it for volatility and understand how it works. But if you're using it to find the trend on ES, just look at ES and just find the trend itself. Or at least that's how I think it works. Yeah, dude, another day where the New York session is garbage. And the worst thing is we had a winning setup off open that I just refused to take off because I don't trade the market open. So hopefully we can get something soon, like a little nice redemption trade. Which I have setups nearby, so I'm not worried about it. I just need the markets to actually start trending somewhere so I can actually take them. It's bouncing off the Tuesday low, but the thing is we already took out the Tuesday low, no? Which would have been at 7. Yeah, no, we took out this low right here, which is why I'm targeting 657. So I guess this is a choppy market. Are you gonna do Asia today? If the New York session doesn't really provide any good setups, I will consider doing Asia. And see what I can cook up, because last night Asia was amazing, but I only think Asia was good last night because of the what was it? It was Google earnings and what else? And Tesla earnings. Google and Tesla earnings, which I didn't even know of, by the way. So yeah, I guess I'm assuming that's probably, and Trump was speaking at 3 p.m. as well, which probably sparked some news in the markets. But I'm kind of confident that the only reason why Asia kind of moved last night was mainly because of the earnings. Last after every big move, then the bounce, we always chop for a while every time. Yeah, bro. It tends to happen a lot, bro. What is it called? AMD, accumulation, manipulation, distribution, or something like that. Are you trading tomorrow? No, I don't trade Fridays. But I am down to trade Asia tonight if we don't get anything during the New York session, which I hope we do, because dude, like, there's no way we don't. We've had a whole week of just garbage New York sessions. So at least we need one good one, you know what I mean? In the meantime, guys, we stay on and we wait for this, bro. I really regret not having my stop loss at 807, bro. I even considered it, but it was too big of a stop loss that I'm like, you know what? Nah. But dude, I need to, dude. I'm gonna do every single time, guys. And you guys know this, bro. Every single time that I use a point based stop loss, I always get stopped out, and the trade always runs in my favor, bro. Always, bro. I need to use a point based stop loss, bro. Always, bro. Always, 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 always. It just makes the most sense. You need to use a stop loss that makes sense in the market, not just a random point based stop loss where the market can just pull back into and then go back into your direction. Although the market is kind of chopping anyways, but still, you know what I mean? We would have still been in this trade. I mean, some say that's why I don't listen when you use a point based stop loss, because you said that, but you keep forgetting. It's not that I forget. I definitely do know to use a structure based stop loss, but sometimes you guys need to understand that. Look, if I wasn't live trading and I wasn't alerting or anything, and I was trading for myself, trust me, I would be using a structure based stop loss all the time. I don't care if it's a 100-point stop loss or anything. I know how to size correctly. But here's the thing: anytime a loss comes around, you guys see all the babies in the chat always complaining, even if it's a 40-point stop loss. So it's like, oh, did you blow my account? Right. So when I see a big stop loss, I'm always thinking about you guys, and I'm always like, okay, well, this stop loss is too big, and I know people, you know, if we see some drawdown on this trade, people are going to be pretty heavy on the loss, you know, depending on their sizing, their account size, their buffer, their drawdown, and so much more. I need to really stop thinking like that and just trade for myself, because that's why you guys are here, and I need to stop trading for you guys. You know what I mean? Because once again, this trade, like I said, even though we got stopped out up here, our bias was still bearish below 807. We should just place it at 807 and break above. Boom, our bias is out of the way. You know what I mean? So people sizing too heavy. No, I know it's always been like that, bro. That's why, dude. And for the person that said don't laugh at the losses, at the people losing, trust me, I didn't mean it like that. Like, I just laugh at the people that are always complaining when a loss comes around, but you never see them around when a win comes around. For example, that Scotty guy, I've never seen that guy a day in my life in the chat, bro. But obviously, when a loss comes around, boom, instantly to talking shit. I mean, same thing with the LOL guy that tunes into my stream every single day, like he's my #1 fan. I mean, he tunes in, doesn't type. The second the trade sees drawdown, oh, dude, you're such a piece of shit, bro. You're like the worst shit I've ever seen. You know what I mean? So it's always like that. So yeah, I need to stop trading for other people and just use a stop loss that I know is the proper stop loss instead of using a point-based stop loss. Because I know how to size, and I'm sure a lot of you guys do as well, right? Obviously, the higher the stop loss, the less the sizing. If you can't afford it, just move on to the next trade. Right? Obviously, not every trade is gonna have the same stop loss. So if you feel like this one has too much of a stop loss, just use the next one. At least you got fans. Dude, I don't think he understands that the more he types in my chat, the more ads I get and the more money I make from YouTube. So I still think it was a good trade. No, this trade was amazing, dude. This trade, I don't care if I got stopped out on it. I don't care if I lost money on it. This trade was a good trade in my eyes. Once again, fair value gap projection, good selling pressure, good selling momentum, good inverse, room for lower. Everything looked amazing. Obviously, we just got a little bit unlucky with the stop loss placement, and we would actually be green at the moment if we would have placed that 807 at the structure, not a point-based stop loss based off of 1-to-1. Let me see. You're good. I was emotional in the moment, so I took offense, bro. Look, bro. If you guys are taking offense from anything that I'm saying, bro, come on, dude. Bro, I'm like the most unserious guy ever, bro. I'm always trying to have fun, bro. So once again, when I see people complaining in the chat, I just laugh at it because it's funny and it's like, bro, like, who are you complaining to, dude? No one cares. You know what I mean? So when people are always like, oh my gosh, dude, I blew my account, bro, like, you know what I mean? They start crying in the chat, bro. All you're doing is just making yourself look like a big fat baby, bro. Like, no one cares. No one's here to save you. You know what I mean? It's you versus you at the end of the day. You know what I mean? So, so yeah. So I just laugh at it, bro, because it's genuinely, it's funny. You know what I mean? Bro. I think you handle yourself very well considering all the responsibility it takes to running a Discord and then adding negative comments. I've been doing this for some years, you know, for a few years. I'm pretty used to it. I know how people work. You know what I mean? A win comes around, everyone loves you. One loss comes around, and everyone's like, "Oh, fuck you, David," until a win comes around, and then all of a sudden I mean, people are very two faced. I mean, you just gotta get used to it. I only like David when he makes money. I only like myself when I make money too, bro. But yeah, bro, I need the markets to move. This thing is so choppy. Okay, you know, a few minutes ago I was saying the market is not choppy. This thing is choppy as hell, bro. My goodness, dude, just move somewhere, bro. Now, yeah, yesterday's market. I know we were chopping during the morning session. Did we ever end up moving? I think we did, right? Yesterday was Wednesday. We took the trade at 9. So we took the shorts right here. We hit the view up, and then yeah, we ended up moving. So maybe that's the same case today, where we chop for like a good hour or so, and then we start moving eventually. But dude, I need some movement, bro. This thing is not moving at all, and it makes getting trades so much harder. Even if they're winning trades, like holding them is so much harder, bro. Let me see. I'm saying I had my stop loss at the wick of the red candle. So once it dumped, I went break even and got a hit with that stupid pullback. Dude, honestly, being break even is way better than being red, bro. Shit, I want to be in your position. You know what I mean? Go me. Yeah, bro. I'm a little bit mad at myself though. Like I said, this setup was good. And I'm not mad at the loss. I'm just mad at I always tell myself use a structure based stop loss because it always works in my favor instead of using a point based stop loss, which could get you stopped out with any little wick. And I still keep doing the same mistake, bro, every single time. You're still in? No shot, bro. Do we need to move? You're still in as well. There's no way you guys are still in this trade. I'm assuming you guys are probably using the 807 stop loss, which really good work on your end. But wow, even if you're still in, bro, I bet you're losing your mind, bro. Dude, this market is terrible. I might have to trade Asia, bro. If I don't see anything for, like, I would say until like 11:30, bro, I'm getting off. I'm just gonna take the L. New York is shit, dude. It's been so bad lately. I'm still waiting for a sweep of anything here so I can form a new bias. Although I am bearish, I just can't work with anything here. Thankfully, though, although the volume isn't all that crazy, we do have some fair value gaps to take. So if if the market doesn't want to move aggressively, we still have setups to take around here. So it's not a big deal. You know what I mean? There's also to Asia. The thing is, dude, Asia is such a big hit or miss, bro. Like sometimes Asia is like the worst session to mankind, and then Asia is like randomly just the best session ever. I mean, let me see. Blast, I'm off. I'm down $540, which is not bad at all. I was one trade away from another payout, but my greedy ass sized normally instead of light to see if I can get the payout. I feel kind of tilted. So I'm just gonna get off the charts, dude. That's like the best thing you could do, bro. Honestly, there's always gonna be a tomorrow, bro. You got it, bro. You're chilling, and you didn't even lose that much, bro. You can make that shit back in one trade, bro. So you're good. Much love, bro. Yeah, you got it, bro. You got it. I'm gonna see if I can cook anything up, bro. But if anything, just let me know. All right, bro. We'll be here. In the meantime, maybe more markets make Asia and London better. They definitely do. But they make the New York session literally untradeable, bro. Look at this. How much you want to bet in the next channel? We're gonna pump up all the way back up to the highs up here. Watch. I'm praying I'm wrong. I really am. So we can take out the low, but I mean, you gotta go to work. Hey, bro, take it easy, bro. Have an amazing day, dude. I'm gonna stay on for a little bit longer to see if I can cook up a trade. But in the meantime, dude, I refuse to take anything here, bro, until something gets better. Yeah, now we should take out 5, 6, 7 here, or 6, 5, 7. We're breaking past the candle lows. If you guys are still in, God bless you guys, bro. Like seriously, dude. This was a hard trade to hold, bro. If you guys are still in. But yeah, if we could take out 6, 5, 7, we should be good to start cooking up another setup. Even though the volume kind of sucks, I'm not gonna take anything until the market actually starts moving really good. Um, but yeah, that means we just wait it out. See if we can get one good pusher to the downside. Dude, if only I would have had an 807 stop loss. But for next time, guys, if you guys hear me talking about a point-based stop loss, tell me not to do it, bro. Because dude, every time I do it, bro, it always goes against me and the trade always plays out, bro. Every single time, bro. Every single time I do a point-based stop loss. All right, we finally took out the drawn liquidity, bro. Thank God, bro. Finally, it only took an hour to take out this low. All right, let's see if we can cook up another setup here, guys. All right, first of all, obviously, before we take a setup, we need to make sure that the volume is good. Hopefully, this breakout here actually ends up starting something, so we can cook something up. So we'll see. Right now, we are dumping quite a bit to the downside, over 100 points. What the heck? Okay, I thought this count was gonna be like 50 points or something. 111 points. That is crazy. Okay, well, that's actually a good thing. So here's what we can do. Okay, so I'm gonna delete this level because we don't need it anymore. We took out the low here. We are inside of a 5-minute bullish fair value gap. If we get a DOL sweep here, we could probably work with somewhat of a fair value gap bounce off a DOL sweep. But the thing is, the price target would just be a little bit bad here, which would target this, and then pull back here, and then another pullback here. So if we take this trade, how much have we already pumped? 50 points already? My goodness. No, I'm not gonna rush it. I'm just trying to cook up a game plan here. But a fair value gap trade wouldn't be too bad here if we're gonna work with the DOL sweep here. Because obviously, if we're gonna go work our way back up, I'm not gonna wait until we inverse the 15-minute bearish value gap up here. I would much rather try to play with something here. But we need to see how we hold this drawn liquidity here. Whether we want to hold lower, which I'm not gonna inverse this one. I'll just inverse this one down here, or we either bounce from this drawn liquidity after we swept it, or after we took it out and swept it back into a bullish bias. And we could probably even look to inverse this 5-minute bearish value gap as well for a 5-minute fair value gap bounce and inverse setup. This wouldn't be a bad trade. And then we could just put our stop loss down here at the inverse of the fair value gap, which would also be below the drawn liquidity. Not a bad setup. Not a bad setup at all now that I'm looking at it. I just need better volume, which it looks like it's trying to pick up. Obviously, it's too early to tell, but it definitely is trying. So what we can do here is hopefully we hold the 5-minute. I don't think we do because it's super small. But if we can, then we can get ourselves another pretty nice setup here, especially with the new bias and hopefully a new trend or a new momentum. And then we just place our stop loss down here. So we can do a fair value gap bounce, DOL sweep, bullish bias, good buying pressure, inverse off the fair value gap, room for higher, and boom. And if anything, we could also target this high up here, which wouldn't be bad. At least I don't think it would be. Yeah, 53 points. So we can probably do something like that. And then we could just target. I really hope that 5-minute hold. I don't think it holds. I really don't think it holds. The worst case, we could just always just enter off a 5-minute fair value gap bounce, which would just be our backup entry. Please hold. Just give us one more dump here. Because we need this inverse here. Oh, unless we have a 1 minute. We do. Wait. Because I just need a reference. Because I don't want to just enter off of a I don't want to enter just off of a what's it called? A fair value gap bounce. Yeah, the fair value gap is gone. There's a buying pressure. We do a 1 minute inverse. And then just do our stop loss at the candle low here. All right, guys. Yeah. Oh my gosh. No. I'm missing the entry. Fuck me, dude. Fuck, dude. Oh my gosh, they pumped up too quick, bro. No shot, dude. Well, we can still go back down. It's not a big deal. But no way I'm gonna miss the entry because we're pumping up too quick, bro. Fuck, man. Where did this pump come from? There's a price target. Oh my gosh, you cannot make this up. There's no fucking way we just missed the entry because of a late. It pumped up too quick, guys. I couldn't wait for the confirmation there. Way too quick. Damn, bro. I mean, we could still enter. The drawn liquidity hasn't really been hit, but our first PT would have been this one. I mean, if you're getting another retracement back down, maybe we can do like a 1 minute retracement. Damn, bro. Because we're bullish now. We're holding above the liquidity at the main one that we want to target at 657. So yeah, I'm okay. It's not a big deal. Actually, we can, if we get a retracement, we could probably work with it. I just see what I need to like rework with. Because if we do, we do a stop loss at the low, get a retracement off the 1 minute here, and just work with the 1 minute gap. It's the only thing we can do here. Because if we want to catch longs, this is too late. We don't have an inverse off the 5 minute. We don't have the inverse off the 1 minute either. So we need a retracement to the 1 minute to see these highs up here. I don't know if we get it. That's the problem. We have way too much buying pressure at the moment. Wow, bro, that is so annoying, guys. I was literally about to say, like, guys, look to enter, and it just moved too quick, bro. I hate when this happens, bro. Let me see if we can get a 1 minute retracement. If we can, then sure, we can probably work with another entry back into the high up here at 780. Wow, bro, that is so annoying, dude. I hate when this happens. Because I am pretty bullish, and we did get the confirmation with a lot of buying pressure. And literally, as I was about to enter, it just pumped up past my entry way too much. And the stop loss was already pretty wide, so I was going to get an entry for that. I don't want to watch the trade run without me, though. But I might have to. I mean, worst case, we can always just base off our entry off here, but it's gonna take forever to see that entry. So I need a 1 minute retracement here. If not, I can't take anything. And ES is also holding pretty bullish here above 453. I need a retracement before we see the high up here, though. Because the main high is 780. But if we can get a retracement to the 1 minute, and then let's say we get... Still, the price target will be terrible. Damn, bro. I might just have to skip out on longs here and just wait for this 15 minutes to get inversed. Which, if you have good buying pressure, shouldn't be a big deal. But... Because even if we base our entry off the 1 minute, we can't do that. Because by the time we wait for... Yeah, by the time we wait for a bounce and everything, we're going to have like a 40-point price target with a big stop loss. It's just not worth it. I'm going to have to skip out on these longs here. Damn, bro. We could have gotten an entry off that 1 minute. I didn't think price was going to move so aggressively like that. Okay. I guess we got to keep waiting, bro. That shit got me so mad, bro. All right, on to the next setup, though. On to the next setup. Even if we do retracement this 1 minute, I can't use it, guys. I really can't. No matter how much I want to, I can't use this one. It would have to be off the entry off here. An entry. Because the thing is, we can go back down into where we were going to enter, but when we now need confirmation that we're going to bounce off the fair value gap. And by the time we get the confirmation, we need to wait for a 50-point bounce, place a stop loss and everything. By the time we do that, we're just going to hit the price target off the bat. So unless we go all the way back down and create another bearish value gap, bounce at the 5 minute bullish value gap, and then we inverse it again, then sure. But what are the odds we do that? So we might have to wait for an inverse off this instead. Okay, I mean, I'm down to wait. I'm just a little bit annoyed with that entry that we missed it. It just happened too quick. The thing is, I don't understand why it happened so quick. But I'm sure we can get another setup. It's not a big deal. We move on to the next. Now, if we do go back down below 657, the thing is, even getting an entry below that level, we're still going to need to wait for a big dump to the downside over 100 points. Because if we inverse this for value gap, our next price target will only be 35 points, which, assuming you get the best entry, we're not going to do that. So instead, we're going to need to inverse this 5 minute for value gap at 520, which is very, very far away, over 170 points away. I mean, price is moving pretty aggressively with the volume. The momentum isn't there, so seeing this type of a push down will take forever. But that is a potential setup that we can take if the trend is very, very bearish, which I am open to taking. But obviously, it will just take a little bit longer. We'll probably just get that set up as we head into the lunch hour, which can slow down the volume a little bit, sometimes at least. I got $100 from that trade. Not bad, bro. Not bad. I was looking to take that trade, bro. It's just literally as I was about to say, yo, guys, like, because I was typing up the alert. I was about to say, yo, guys, hover over the buy button. I look away for a second. I look back, and we're already at the price target. Why? I don't know. But yeah. I love when you say it's not a big deal and mean it. This shit can be emotional as hell. Yeah, I mean, the reason I'm saying it's not a big deal is because we have like 3 other setups we can take. They're just a little bit further away. I wanted to try to get an early entry because, I was pretty bullish. Either way, I would have gone to stop at a break even, so I probably wouldn't even be like super green anyways. So like I said, it's really not a big deal. But yeah, I mean, there's better setups around anyway, so we can always move on to it. They're just gonna take a little bit longer. That's the problem. I want to try to get a setup now while the volume is active before we head into the lunch hour and the volume kind of slows down and dies down a little bit. But I mean, we are going back down into 657, so we could probably start working with a new bias if we're not gonna hold this sweep, and we could probably even look to inverse this 5 minute bullish value gap. The thing is, it's a little bit far away. It was 170 points a second ago. Now it's only 115 points. So the volume is definitely there. Hopefully we can keep up this momentum, because if we can and we get a trade, we can probably just trade it straight down to 408. But we need to wait for that then. You got $250 off that trade. Not bad, bro. Really good stuff on you guys catching it, bro. Obviously, for me, it takes me a little bit longer because, I'm streaming and I have to type up the alert to 2 different servers, which eats up a lot of time. So yeah. Now, in the meantime, if we are going to end up getting shorts below 657, then we could probably work with something else. So let me see what I can cook up here. Okay, we probably did like 3 price targets. I just need to see if we can hold this bearish bias below 657. Because we could do 408.25. 3. Excuse me, I have a lot of hiccups. And 28 324 as well, 0.50. We could probably do something like that. The thing is, we're currently still inside of this 5 minute bullish value gap, and we're trying to sweep this low here. So we need to see how this holds. We could work with another entry into longs, but the thing is, looking at how we reacted here, we got a very positive reaction. Then we followed it with a random dump again. So I don't know how confident I feel with longs off of this 5 minute bullish rally gap. They could work, but I don't think I'm gonna take it. I think I'm just gonna follow the trend here. Obviously, the trend is still pretty bearish. Unfortunately, we're still not in the shorts. You know what I mean? But the trend looks pretty bearish here. With the momentum and the pressure. So if we can hold the selling pressure, we could probably look to inverse this 5 minute for value gap for confirmation that sellers are in control, and then we inverse this for value gap here for an entry, which would be the fair value gap at 520, and then we could just trade it all the way down to the 408, which wouldn't be too bad. And then I don't know why I have this as a level of liquidity here. I'm not gonna take that. But at the moment, we're still trying to sweep this low here, so it's a little bit confusing because the market is so choppy yet so volatile. So it's a little bit tricky to get a trade here for sure. But hopefully we can inverse. If we can inverse this gap here, I would probably just look to take this. Now, unfortunately, with this trade yet again, I'm gonna have to use a point-based stop loss. This, I know I told you guys like, hey, tell me, don't but I'm not using 100. Like, with all respect, I'm not doing that. I'd rather get stopped out because the nearest drawn liquidity will be here, and the price target will still be negative anyways. 110, and I can't even do it 1-to-1 because I'm also not using a 110 point stop loss. So hopefully on the way down we create some sort of a fair value gap that we can use as a reference for our stop loss, as a more of a rejection point. But in the meantime, I mean, the market is still trying to pump up off of this 657 low here, which is interesting because we swept it already 2 times here, and we just keep going back down below it. So what are buyers trying to do here? I'm not gonna look for longs from this fair value gap bounce here because once again we saw the reaction that we got the first time. It doesn't look all that good. So So yeah. Someone say here, David, we can't hear you. Hello, hello, hello. Yeah, you can. Can't hear you. Wait. Yeah, you can, bro. What are you talking about? Bro, are you sure your mic is on mute? I mean, your phone's on mute, bro. How do you know the market NQ1 is bearish today? Well, obviously, just obviously we're going down. And I'm also waiting for the bias for the drawn liquidity. Yes, is also holding back down bearish. Yes, is picking up a little bit more selling pressure. Not really. I was on a 30-minute. The thing is, although we are getting back into a bullish bias above 657, I don't want to take longs here. It's too choppy, bro. Yeah, price is volatile and it's moving very aggressively, but the thing is, it's so uncertain that literally, even though longs look pretty decent, any little setter will stop you out. You rather wait till Asia? Yeah, I kind of do as well, bro. I'm gonna see if the market can kind of spike up on the selling here, because once again, I'm sure we can head lower. I mean, once again, buyers are struggling to hold above this drawn liquidity sweep. As much as they're trying to sweep it, they can't. Sellers aren't letting them. So I'm sure sellers can step in soon. And I don't want to miss out on that move, so I'm gonna wait a little bit longer. But if the chop just continues until like 11:30, dude, I'm just gonna get off until Asia. 15-minute gap? We don't have a 15-minute gap. Oh, we do. But it closes in 11 minutes. The thing is, once again, it's not even the gap itself. It's just I don't want to be longing in a choppy area right here. It just doesn't make sense to me. Is the Apex discount over? No, they extended with the legacy accounts for like 7 more days or something. We have a 1 minute. I'm not trading the 1 minute. The 1 minute was just like a backup plan for the longs, but I didn't even take that anyways. I just don't want to get stuck in the trade like the one we took yesterday. It might have to be it's what we have to deal with, bro. It's just what the market is giving us right now. Isn't that too late entry? Isn't the first IFG better? No, because the thing is, if you take the first IFG, assuming you wait for the impulse, you're probably gonna enter like 607, 605. You're only gonna have a 25 point price target into the next fair value gap. It just doesn't make sense. So I would much rather just use this as a confirmation that sellers are in control, inversing the bullish fair value gap, and then we use this as the entry, and then we still have room for lower into 408. But we just need that seller aggression. We have it, but it's like it's not like buyers just keep trying to buy it up, which I don't see why. Or I actually do see why. Obviously, the drawn liquidity here, but it's like how many attempts are they gonna try to sweep this? You know what I mean? Like eventually, sellers are gonna like get full control of the market, which is what I'm waiting for. But it's gonna take some time because the market is so choppy. So you won the A, bro. If you made, bro, that's better than red, bro. That's for sure, bro. So yeah, bro, take it easy, bro. Enjoy your weekend, dude. I'm gonna try to see if I can work with something here, but for now, buns, dude. This thing's garbage. This market as chopped as me. Me too, bro. Me too. Are you anticipating the reversal in the market today? No. Why? No. 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 I actually haven't tried to anticipate the reversal. It's not really anticipating. I'm just working off reactions. Obviously, I'm entering earlier, but you know what I mean. That's how you catch a move. I'm pretty sure you're looking for more setups after the morning we had. No, 100%. I'm going to try to make something work here. Once again, I'm not mad about the previous trade. In fact, the previous trade technically did work. It's just we had the improper stop loss. So obviously for this trade, we need to have a better stop loss, which is going to be hard because I can't use the structure here anyways. So hopefully, as we head lower into this 520 entry, we create a fair value gap that we can just use as a reference for a stop loss. Dave, will you still be on YouTube tonight for the mentoring recap? Most likely, yeah. You still the low? Yeah, yes, has been taken out the low. It's just, dude, it doesn't really matter because once again, prices is not moving, bro, which is so annoying. So hopefully we can get something cooking up here, man. Hopefully. The thing is, I'm just a little bit confused as to where I want to place the stop loss. Right now, I don't know where I'm going to place it, but Either way here, even if we do a fair value gap here, which we do have, which is what I wanted, it's still over 100 points, which I don't want to do. So maybe we create another one on the way down. I kind of doubt it, but let me see. These pullbacks are wild. The market is bearish, but it's so easy to get stopped out. Yeah, dude. Once again, but I'm so mad. Well, I'm not really mad about the last trade. I'm just mad where I placed a stop loss, bro. I should have just done 807, bro, because we would have been super good on the trade at the moment. Because once again, when we got stopped out, our buys remained bearish. It never went bullish, so we should have never gotten out of shorts. And the trade worked out. Obviously, it was a little bit hard to hold, but the trade definitely did hold, and it definitely did work out and everything. It's just obviously we use a point-based stop loss, so we couldn't do anything. Is Donald Trump speaking? I don't think so. No. The market wouldn't be moving this indecisive with him speaking. Yeah, no, he's not speaking. I just don't know where I can base like this trade. This setup looks amazing. Like I'm gonna take it. If we go down, I'm gonna take it. No ifs, no buts. I'm gonna take it. The thing is, I don't know where to put my stop loss. That's the problem. I can't do up here. It's too big. Assuming we get the best entry, this is what we're gonna be working with. That's too much, even for me. You know what I mean? Obviously, I have the buffer and everything, but this is too much. It's not worth it. So we would need to create something around this area here, whether it's here or the next candle, where we create some sort of a gap that we can use as a reference. Like, even if we do get stopped out, our buyers will probably remain bearish. But if we inverse the bearish rally gap, it's some sign that buyers are stepping in. So we could just use that as a reference. But yeah, I'm gonna take shorts here. Like, there's no way I'm not gonna take shorts at 520. I love this entry and I love the setup and everything. It looks amazing and really good selling pressure and everything. I just don't. My only concern is, where do we put the stop loss? I'm not gonna do 657. I can't. Not only for myself, but only for you guys. I refuse to lose that much if the trade doesn't work out. But where else can I place? Because there's no other drawn liquidity here. There's no other fair value that we can base it off of. I'm gonna delete this because I'm not gonna use it. What more can I do here? Once again, I could do this, but either way, 100 points it's still a lot. Although we are gonna have a 1-to-1, assuming that we hold until 408. Um, so I wouldn't be terrible, but I don't know if I want to do 100 points. Hey, the selling looks good, then sure, yeah. Like I'll hold all the way down to 408 with the 1-to-1 reserve and just take full profits there. Um, then I need to figure something out quick because we are approaching this 520 entry off the inverse of the fair value gap very very soon. So we need to figure out what we can do here, like really really soon. We can't really wait too long. Obviously right now I can't do much. I have to wait for the next candle to open up. But for now, the best thing I could probably do is do a stop loss at 620, which I don't want to do. But that's where the fair value gap would sit on the 5-minute time frame right over here, like this, which could give us more of a reference. Like, hey, if the market pulls back, hey, this could just be a regular fair value gap retracement before we see lower, right? So I wouldn't want to have my stop loss down here either, because what happens if we enter this, we get a pullback, we get stopped out, and all it was a bearish fair value gap retracement before we see lower into 408. You know what I mean? So this trade is definitely becoming trickier and trickier as time goes on. So I need to figure something out soon. I don't want to do a 620 stop loss. But if I have to, I will. Just very, very light size. And just hold all the way down into 408, assuming the volume is good enough to hold into 408. Either way, it's a positive risk reward, so we would have to hold all the way down into 408, obviously, if you want to. Um, hmm. Let me do something. Let me do some math real quick. Because what I could do is, um, assuming we have a stop loss at 101 with the target of 109 or just 110. One micro is 220. What if I do 5? That's $1,000 risk, which honestly I'm pretty down for, because I can make. I don't think that stop loss is worth it, guys. I could do 7 as well, but honestly, I probably would be down for 7. Because if I'm down 800 right now, I could probably be up quite a bit with this trade if it hits the full PT. Yeah, I don't know if I want to do 101 though. I'm gonna give the market a few more minutes to see if we can hopefully create another gap on the way down and just use that as the reference. So we can have like a 50, 55 point stop loss. Because I really don't want to have it up here. So I'm gonna give the market a few more minutes to see. Hopefully, maybe we retrace off this, go lower, create another gap, and then we just use that as the reference. But for now, it's gonna be a little bit tricky. Now we do have another 15-minute gap here, which if we don't want to go lower, obviously the market is a little bit oversold, if you ask me. If we don't want to go any lower and we end up bouncing from this 15-minute, this 5-minute bullish rally gap, if we go back above 657, we can also still work with this 15-minute inverse. Well, yeah, we actually can because it closes in 3 minutes. There's no way we go all the way back up into the 700s in 3 minutes. Knock on wood. But we can also use this if we want to work with upside. Worst comes to worst, and it will give us a way better stop loss because we could do an inverse off this and have a stop loss all the way at even 30, as little as 30. Obviously, I'm not gonna do a 30-point stop loss, but as little as 30 points, you can use it. Because if you're gonna be basing your drawn liquidity off this, obviously, I wouldn't really suggest it because the volume is very, very aggressive. But it wouldn't look bad. That's assuming we get a sweep off of 657. Only con to that is we're gonna be trading back into a choppy range, which is fair value gap is gone anyways. So, interesting. Very tricky market today, guys. It's making us work for our money, bro. Let me tell you guys. But we're gonna make it work. Trust. We're gonna make it work. Thing is, I just need to figure out what I can do here. A lot of thinking today. A lot of thinking. Because we do get a bounce, because we did tap into this 5-minute here, which is obviously a pretty good fair value gap. If we do end up getting a bounce back into 657, we can simply just inverse the 15-minute and hopefully see up here and not have to worry with the chop here. But we need to see how the buying volume, steps in, which obviously right now it's not really too aggressive. The thing is now, even if we do want to enter shorts here, even if we were, which I wasn't going to, but even if we were going to use the stop loss up here, we can't. The gap is gone. We just, for some reason, not for some reason, we pumped up and we took it out. Very interesting. Maybe we can use no. I was gonna say maybe we can use a 15-minute, but it's still too big. Let me see. Someone say here, I stayed in shorts, was red, now I'm green. Stayed positive and took the larger risk for the stop loss. Dude, good work, bro. If you guys are still in shorts from our first entry and you guys had your stop loss placed at 807, really good work, bro. Like seriously, you guys really outplayed me there. Or outdid me, because I should have done that, bro. But I did a 799 stop loss, bro. Literally the same case, bro. A 7-point difference, but I should have just done that. Yes is barely moving, so we don't even need to use yes as a reference today, which is one less thing we don't need to worry about. Thing is, how do we use a stop loss here? Can we use the candle wick? It's still too big. We could. I mean, it's not bad. I assume we're gonna have a 110-point price target. I don't want to have a big stop loss like that. The most I'll probably do is like 80 points. So let me see if we can hopefully create a gap on the way down in this candle or in the next candle, if we want to go lower, of course. It's already 11. Wow. So the closer we get into 12, the slower the market might get because of lunch hour. Obviously, lunch hour isn't always slow, but I need to see how the market reacts around this area. We're breaking previous candle lows, which is a good sign if we want to get these shorts here, because obviously we're getting closer and closer to the 5-minute inverse. Question is how do we make this work? Also, by the way, guys, my bad for not reading the chat today, bro. I'm so locked in with the markets, bro. I really apologize, guys, because I know I'm always reading the chat, but I'm just super locked in today. Because let me tell you guys, today's market is pretty tricky, bro. With the chop and the bias and the momentum and everything, it's good, but it's like not the best. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to make it work here for you guys, so we can catch a good trade to end the week. Yes, see a little bit lower here, which is a good sign. It's following in Q. And Q obviously just still trying to bounce off this 5 minute fair value gap. I just don't like how sellers are trying to gain control and buyers are just in the way, dude. Like, get out of the way, bro. Just dump this, bro. Hey, Sonny, but I like your mindset, bro. I like your mindset, dude. Once again, I'm not mad with our performance today. You know, obviously, once again, guys, if you guys are mature enough to understand this, you can't win them all. Losses will happen in the markets. It's all just probability. Obviously, we could have avoided the loss if we just used an 807 stop loss, but it's not a big deal. It's one loss. I mean, we've gotten like dozens, you know, in these last few weeks. It's not a big deal, right? But yeah, we could have definitely avoided that loss with this trade today, bro. It was a good setup, and it actually ended up playing out. We just needed a stop loss to draw liquidity, bro. So I'll know for next time, obviously. Well, I always know for next time, but on the bright side, we didn't overtrade, we didn't revenge trade, and we still, in my opinion, that setup was amazing. I don't care if we got stopped out. In my eyes, that setup was actually perfect. It ended up working out, so I'm not mad about it. We did everything correctly. It's just that stop loss could have been placed a little better, just a little better. So obviously we will know for next time, which is what I'm trying to do right now. But yeah, revenge trading is what you're doing now. Blood, what? But we still keep bouncing from this 5 minute gap here. Although sellers are trying to dump this lower, as you guys can obviously see, we just keep getting like these annoying buyers in the middle of the way. You know what I mean? And not allowing us to just dump all the way down straight into the inverse. Because you guys see here, look, we keep going lower and lower every single pullback. It's just buyers are still getting in the way every single time. Can you explain the Apex Legacy accounts? Yeah, but they're pretty much just accounts with better rules, cheaper as well. They're like $15, $16 or something. Better rules, more drawdown, no payout cap, no payout limit. Like with the 6 payouts. What more? So the payout rules, the buffer. There's another thing. I can't think. Sure. No, I'm so locked in with the markets. Anyways, on the bright side, guys, we are dumping a little bit lower here. We are creating a fair value gap, which is actually what we wanted. So if anything, we could put our stop loss at 550 set at 577, assuming we hold in the next 20 seconds. The first 5 payouts are capped that way for legacy. Yes, they are. But what I meant by capped payouts is with the new accounts, you can only get 6 payouts before they close your accounts or move you to live. With the legacy accounts, that was never a thing. So after 5 payouts, you can request as much money as you want, whether it's a $10,000 payout per account, and so on and so forth, right? But for the first 5 payouts, you're limited to like 2K per payout, depending on the account. ES looks cleaner though. ES isn't really moving. Yeah, it's doing the same thing to be honest. Do they ever need to switch indexes? Eh, some days will be better than others. You know what I mean? But yeah, we're still breaking past from previous kind of lows. This is not really a gap. I mean, technically it is. It's not the biggest one. It's not the best one. It's 46 points. We do have a gap here, which we could use as a stop loss. I just need once again the setup is amazing. I just need a good stop loss. I need somewhere to know where to place my stop loss, which for now would be here for about 60 points, which isn't bad. So if anything, we can even size a little bit heavier with this trade, assuming we dump down all the way. Can you be moved to live on the new account on Apex? Yes. I don't really think they're really pushing it out that aggressively as much as they were like a month or two ago. But I do know some people that are currently trading on the live accounts already. All right, guys, we're getting more selling pressure here, which is a good sign. Obviously, we are approaching the 520 level, guys. So obviously, let's start getting ready for some potential shorts. I found my stop loss. I think I'm just gonna use the 5 minute fair value gap here, which isn't the most reliable one, but it is something way better than a 100 point stop loss. And simply, if the trade doesn't work, then the market just isn't for us today. We just move on to the Asia, or we just come back next week. All right, because you guys know I'm trade Fridays. Let's see if we can hopefully try to make this work. We could probably hopefully target 408. Or at least try to flip the day back to break even, or just a little bit green. Anything is better than red, right? So hopefully this trade can make this happen. Once again, the momentum looks really bearish. The bias is really bearish below this liquidity at 657. The selling pressure looks okay. It's like decent. It's there. It's definitely there, right? It's there enough for us to take the trade. Everything looks pretty good here. So hopefully we can make shorts work this time. So I will see. Now, obviously, the market is having a little bit of random pullbacks here and there. So hopefully these pullbacks aren't aggressive enough to stop us out. If they are, then unfortunately we just have to call it a day and just obviously just accept that the market isn't for us today. What company is that? It's Apex, the legacy account. I'm talking about Apex. Let me see. David, should we not size heavier if we lose the first trade, went on eval? It's completely up to you. If you can afford the loss, then sure. If not, then just size the same. It's all buffer based. But yeah. Right now we are getting a little bit of a buying candle here. Obviously, we are in a buying territory, which is where buyers step in. Obviously from the bullish value gap. But if we can break this back down into the inverse, we should be good for a nice inverse trade to the downside. But we need to see. Hopefully, we can hold this fair value gap here because this is going to act as our stop loss. So hopefully, we get the inverse before we see any retracement into the fair value gap because we need this fair value gap to stay active. If not, then we're going to be screwed with the stop loss. We won't know where to place it. To place it. And ES does have room for lower. So if anything, we could also use ES as a reference if ES wants to be the stronger one to the downside into 409, 7409, which would be this liquidity down here. I'm really hoping that we don't retrace into this 5 minute gap. Once again, we need this gap to stay active. If it's not active, then we can't use this as a stop loss. If we can't use this as a stop loss, I won't know where more to place my stop loss. Because right now we have like a perfect point based stop loss. We're not point based, like we have a perfect like in points. Like 60 points is not bad at all. Not even 60, it's 58. Assuming we get the best entry, of course. So yeah, hopefully we inverse this gap with no questions asked and no retracements. Because if we get the retracement, then there's a good chance that we just won't have a stop loss, and I just won't know where to place it. If anything, you can also even place it here, but 39 points is too little. Especially if you get a little pullback, you're out of the game. I mean, so yeah. Let's see what we do here. We are getting close to an entry though, guys. So obviously start paying attention. See if we can snipe something here. So if we can get a nice push down here. It's just inverse. Yes, it's also just pushing lower. It does have room for lower as well, which gives me the confidence that the markets can't see lower. The selling momentum is very bearish. The trend is bearish overall. The aggression is there. Kind of. Everything looks pretty good here, I would say. We can make this work. Hopefully, a green to red will be amazing. A green to red push, not even a green to red. A green to red push shows us the sellers are still there. There's a green to red. Can we get a push below the inverse though? If you guys want, start hovering over the sell button. See if we can snipe something here. Hopefully. You passed your eval? Nice, bro. Good shit, bro. I don't know what you took. But whatever it was, you passed it. So that's what matters, bro. Really good stuff. Yes, it's dumping actually. Like low key. So if you can, so is NQ, but so if you can, all right. So we're at 518. We're at the bottom of the gap. Can we get a push here though? And if so, how much of a push do we get? All right, I'm gonna answer here, guys. I'm in 28 519. 2509. This is gonna be my last trade for the day, guys. I'm gonna place my stop loss at 578. There you go. This is gonna be my last trade for the day, guys. All right. Let me go re-open my water, guys. I'll be back. One sec. Cookie. Cookie. Hey. All right, guys, I'm back. Oh, yeah, she got a pretty nice push there, actually. What the heck? Well, it was 20 points, so, but not too bad. Hopefully we can make these shorts work though, guys. Once again, both ESN and Q do have room for lower. Yes, we are a little bit oversold, which puts me a little bit more, a little more hesitant on this trade. But obviously, if the selling momentum just continues, then sure, we just continue going lower. Now, one thing I will say, guys, is prepare yourself. This trade is gonna take a fat minute. All right, guys, we need to go very, very down. All right, so yeah, hopefully we can see it, but yeah, we need to go pretty low for this trade. All right, guys. So yeah, this trade is probably gonna take like a good hour or so, assuming we don't just instantly dump, right? Which will be amazing if we do, but I don't really think we do. So yeah, just prepare yourself. So in the meantime, guys, I'll just open up the chat. I'll have it ready here. Um, so yeah. Oreo, hello. What are you doing? What are you doing, Mr. Oreo? Mr. Oreo. All right, come on. I'm working. Here, go to the window. All right, guys. Where are you taking profits? I don't know. Okay, I want to hold until 408. I really, really do. But I might just do a 1-to-1 scale at 60 points and just call it a day. Because I'm in a little bit heavier in terms of size, just because the stop loss is a little bit smaller than the previous trade. So if I can see like maybe like 60 points, 70 points of profits, I'll probably just take full profits and call it a day. Because I'm not trying to hold this trade all the way down either. Hey. Do not get on my keyboard. You're going to buy more contracts. I don't want that. All right, back. Yeah. Blast indicator has been on fire today. TP1 hit already. Which entry did it take? I'm assuming it took the 5-minute one above, right? Can you pass the legacy accounts in one day? Yes, you can. Should I better wait for payouts on Apex in the new account blast? Wait. Should I better wait for payouts on Apex in the new accounts to get moved to live instead of closing my account? It goes one or two ways. You'll probably just get moved to live beforehand, but yeah. I got cat hair on my mouth, bro. One second. All right, back. Ugh. Price is getting a little bit more aggressive. Don't tell me that Trump is starting to speak. Please. Please. No shot, right? No. Okay. Now, we do have another 5-minute gap here, guys, so we could expect a little bit of drawdown in this trade. We do have a gap here and a gap here. Obviously, this one being our stop loss. But if we do get a little bit of a pullback, I would say, obviously, don't worry. Obviously, the market is dumping, so pullbacks are pretty normal. So if anything, we could probably just retrace into this 5-minute here and just see that and hopefully reject. If not, then I just call it a day and get stopped out. Hold on, bro. Alrighty, I'm back. But yeah, guys, like I said, we could get a retracement into this 5-minute gap here. If we do, it's not a big deal. It's actually pretty normal that we get that because once again, with the market selling off so aggressively, we do need pullbacks. It's not as a healthy pullback. Hopefully the buying pressure isn't too strong to the point where we inverse this fair value gap because then we're gonna be in a little bit of trouble, right? But a pullback into this 5-minute is pretty expected. It's pretty normal. So if you do see it, don't freak out and don't worry about it. It's completely normal, right? We actually need it. All right. If we're able to reject off this, then we should be good to go. Hopefully we see 408. It's gonna take a fat minute, I will say. So if anything, I'll probably just take my full profits out of 1-to-1 at 60 points, 60 or 70 points. But you could definitely hold into 408 if we do end up getting the fair value gap rejection after we retrace into it. I do expect us to retrace into it. I wouldn't see why we wouldn't. Once again, the market is pretty oversold. We do have a lot of selling pressure. We barely have any green candles on the way down. So a green candle, is expected and it is normal. All right. So once again, do not freak out if you're in a little bit of drawdown. It is normal. It is expected. All right. Now, when you should start freaking out is if we inverse this bearish value gap. If we do, then we might be in a little bit of trouble. All right, guys. But yeah, if we don't, then we should be good. All right. Because once again, both ES and NQ do have room for lower. The selling aggression is there. The trend is bearish and everything, so it does look good. But like I said, with the trend being so much selling pressure, we do need some sort of buyers to step in for a healthy pullback, right? And that pullback should hopefully be into just a 5-minute, and then we go back down. If it's not, then we're in trouble. All right, guys. And like I said, this is probably gonna be my last trade for the day. If this trade doesn't work out, then I probably will come back later for Asia, but no promises. I would have to see what I can do there. But yeah, all right. So we are approaching this 5-minute gap here. Like I said, fingers crossed we are able to reject off of this gap. Like I said, it's completely normal for us to get a pullback in this type of market, especially with so much selling pressure kicking in. Only question is can we hold the 5-minute gap here? All right, we need to be able to hold it. If not, then we could be in trouble. Not for a reversal, but definitely with more aggressive buying pressure to the point where we could approach our stop loss into the next fair value gap. So we need to be able to reject off of the gaps here. All right. If not, then might be cooked. Let's do Asia. I'll be down for it. Like I said, I don't think Asia's going to move as good as yesterday. The whole reason why Asia was really, really good yesterday was mainly just because Tesla and Google earnings came out, which gave the markets a bunch of what's called a bunch of volume. And oh my gosh, we inversed the fair value gap. Ooh. That's not good. That's not good at all, guys. Hopefully we can get a nice what's it called, a nice pullback here, but I don't think so. I don't know why price is getting super aggressive now that we answer as well. I don't think Trump is speaking, but yeah. See if we can flip this back from green to red. We did inverse the fair value gap, but I mean we are getting a rejection, which is a good sign as well. So maybe this is just the pullback that we want to see. Just because if we do end up getting stopped out of this trade, it doesn't mean that we're not gonna be bearish. I'm just not gonna keep trying it. So I need to see what we can do here. I just don't know where all this volume is coming from all of a sudden. What the fuck? Yeah, where is all this volume coming from? I'm trying to check my news sources. There's nothing here. Fed bids for 4-week bills, total of 6.6 billion. I don't think that has to do with anything. Oh, 6 minutes ago though. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, nothing here. Yeah, where is all this volume coming from? It's a little bit scary if you ask me. Hopefully we don't get stopped out due to it, but I don't know where all this aggression is coming from. Because we didn't have this before we entered. Why now as we enter? I'm not sure. But we'll see. Hopefully this volume goes in our favor though. I mean the trend is bearish, so it hopefully should, but we have to see. What the fuck? What is this volume? I mean, dude, if we want to, oh my, what the, what the fuck? What, guys? 60 points. What the fuck was that? And I couldn't scale. What the fuck was that, bro? And I couldn't scale, bro. What the fuck was that? And why did it happen? What the shit? Did you guys see that? Did you guys scale there? I couldn't scale, dude. I was typing up the alert. I'm not gonna. Bro, what was that, guys? Hold on. Did news come out or something? I can't scale. I couldn't scale there, guys. What was that? Please don't stop me out now. Do not stop me out now, bro. Please. There's no shot. We just saw 60 points in trade and I couldn't scale out, bro. Dude, what? Where did that come from? I don't see any news coming out. Does anyone know? Well, hopefully we can see lower. Like, hopefully. Because I could not scale there. That would be annoying if I get stopped out after. But let me see. I took profits so fast. Dude, what was that? Okay. I mean, I'll take it. Hopefully the trend remains bearish so we can see 408. Wow. Okay. That is very interesting. There's gonna be a massive liquidity here, so I might just have to take profits past the break. How would they scale? Anyone that didn't double the size is still red, even with 50 points? Well, I mean, it's up to you, dude. I just said scale because, I mean, it's close to 1-to-1. If not, then just keep holding. I just don't know, like, why that happened. I'm checking the news. Still nothing. Do we have any Forex Factory, maybe? War powers vote in Congress right now? But why isn't it coming up on Twitter? Oh, right here. Trump is going to travel to Michigan on Monday. Bro, what does that have to do with anything? Guys, I might just take full profits below like 450. ES is still dumping. ES still has room for lower, so we should see lower here, especially without the selling pressure. But when you hold for overall profits, I am holding. Like, what? Let's see if we can break below 450 here. Dude, this volume is aggressive. It's a little scary. I mean, if you guys want to secure profits, you definitely can. Don't wait on me. I am taking a little bit more of a risk just so I can try to flip the day back. But I'm gonna hold for lower. I need to. See if I can get a break below 495. Or maybe we could just hold for 409 into ES. I just need a good push down here. I mean, past the line. Yeah, I'm waiting past the line, yeah. Because past this will be a 1-to-1 risk reward. If you guys want to take it, of course. I probably am as well. I mean, I did size a little heavy on this trade. Just because the stop loss was a little bit smaller than the previous one. All right, we're back green on the day. Obviously, I'm not. I'm waiting for a break below. I'm gonna hover over the sell button here, guys. I mean the exit button. I want to see a break below 495. I mean 459. I'm just gonna take my profits here, bro. Fuck that. I'm done for the day, bro. I'm not gonna hold past this, bro. Like, dude, this market is intense today, bro. Guys, I'm taking full profits. I'm back green on the day, bro. I'm gonna call it a week from this, dude. Oh my gosh, what a fucking day, bro. Dude, bro, I don't really smoke that much, bro, but I need something, dude. Jeez, bro, what a fucking day, bro. I need someone to roll me up, bro. Just one, bro. Just give me one, dude. My gosh, what a fucking trade, bro. David, I got you. Thank you, guys. I need it, bro. Now we can go lower. I'm just taking profits, bro, because I'm trying to call it a day and call it a week, bro. I'm done with that shit, dude. My goodness, bro. And we're still dumping, guys. So if you want to keep holding, bro, go ahead. I mean, obviously you can start looking to take profits here. Dude, I honestly feel super like relieved, bro. What a fucking day in the markets, dude. Not my most favorite day. Let me tell you guys, bro. Is anyone still holding? Please go break even. Please be smart. I'm the best. I got you the best roller in Miami, bro. You already know, bro. Okay, now let me stop talking about it. Guys, I'm trolling. Obviously, I'm trolling. I don't want to encourage any of that stuff, guys. I'm trolling. I'm just trying to say, like, today was a very stressful day, bro. The first trade was a nice winning trade. We got stopped out. The second trade, we almost got stopped out, and then something happened that we just dumped down, which I will take, bro. By all means, dude. So yeah. Now, if you guys are still holding, I'm gonna stay on stream for a little bit longer. I'm gonna see if we can take out 408. If we can, obviously, I'm gonna tell you guys to scale out and all that good stuff. All right. If you guys are still holding, but please, guys, if you're holding, for the love of God, take something, bro. Please, I beg you guys, take something. If you're green or break even or whatever, take something. All right, guys, please don't let this trade go to waste. You're in profit. Nice, guys. Nice. Very, very nice, guys. Good work. Still very, very horrible. Sorry, I don't fit your standards, dude. Guys, we're still dumping, guys. Nice, man. Let's fucking go. Obviously, I secured my profit just to go break even on the day. That's kind of all I wanted. But if you guys are still holding, you guys should be pretty green on the day. Like, overall. The trade's up about 85 points. And it could probably run even more. Very nice guys, dude. Like that ass, like, dude, what a fucking day, bro. And now, for my new people in here, for my people on YouTube, or for my new people here in the Discord, guys, I promise you, it is never like this, dude. The markets are look, the markets are hard, right? But they've never been like this, like today, bro. I really don't know what happened. Obviously, we did make a little bit of a mistake today with the first trade. The second trade, it was a pretty decent trade. Obviously, we got a little bit of a bigger pullback than we expected, but we still made it work. All right, so, dude, honestly, I feel like I just got like 1,000 pounds lifted off my shoulder, bro. Like, I know you don't trade Fridays, but are you trading tomorrow? No. I'll probably trade Asia. I'll probably trade Asia. I feel like I can get one more trade. Are you guys down for it, or you guys want me to call it a week? Let me know. Come on, Blast. It's not that rare. Today's a classic. Dude, the New York City just has been so garbage lately, bro. One more would be awesome. I'm gonna try it for you guys, man. But dude, I'm done for the New York session this week, dude. I'm done with this shit, bro. Asia, look. One promise, guys. If Asia moves like yesterday, I will trade it. If Asia does not move like yesterday and slow, I'm calling it a week. I think I'm up like $800 per account this week, which is 8 grand. So it's not too bad across 10 accounts. So yeah, guys, like I said, I'll promise you guys I will be on for Asia. But if Asia does not move like yesterday, I'm not trading it. I'm done trading like garbage market conditions. I'm done with that shit, bro. It's terrible, bro. Bro, dude, I'm looking at my boy Krabby's alert because I just got the notification. Bro, even my friend Krabby is done trading, bro. Look at this. He just said full TP, get me the fuck off the screens, bro. Dude, even Krabby, because for those who don't know, me and Krabby, I know a lot of you guys like pretty much love Krabby's trading style. Which he trades pretty similar to me, not exactly like me, but Kyrie trades like me. Dude, he took the same trade as us a little bit later. He got shorts at 717, while we got it at like what? What? When did we get shorts? We got shorts at 712, so we got it like 2 or 3 minutes before him. Bro, we both got stopped out for the same case, bro. So hey, it's good to know that we didn't make a mistake, bro. I mean, we did with the stop loss, but I mean, at least we're not the only ones. You know what I mean? But Krabby made his day back. So did we. Not too bad, bro. We'll take it, man. We will take it. You know what I mean? Anyways, um, yeah. Just passed my first eval yesterday too. Nice, bro. Good stuff. Will you alert it? Of course, bro. Of course. I'm not gonna tell you guys, hey, let's trade Asia, and I don't alert anything. But man, dude, what a stressful ass market today, bro. Fuck, dude. Today was intense in the green, so at least it's not a red day. At the end of the day, you mentioned Asia. Do you ever consider trading on Fridays? Sometimes I do, but I have a very specific rule. A lot of you guys are always asking me, David, why don't you trade Fridays? A big reason why I don't trade Fridays, guys, is more of a mental thing. I feel like if I've had a really good Monday to Thursday, why risk going on tilt on Friday and giving back all the profits and more and ending the week red when I can't even redeem myself over the weekend and I have to live with that loss and that red week throughout the weekend. I can't relax. I'm like I feel pressured, with all you guys, me putting out a red trade and then going on Monday, I feel even more pressured because I have to put out a win. You know what I mean? So I feel like if I always have a good Monday to Thursday, I just don't trade on Fridays. It's just the way that it allows me to rest mentally because obviously it's easier said than done, guys. Obviously, you guys see me every single day on live and you guys follow around. And when I say, hey, this is something really hard to do, you guys are probably like, dude, David, all you need to do is click two buttons and just tell us what you're gonna take. But obviously, when you have like 600, 700, 800 people watching you live every single day and your every move, and you have these big fat babies always crying about some little thing about the trade, it really gets on you. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that I get tilted over that, but it's a lot of pressure, right? It's a lot of people watching. It's a lot of people relying on me, and it's a lot, dude. You know what I mean? So for me, I always just use Fridays as an extra day to rest mentally, just so I have all my energy back for Monday and I continue giving you guys my best quality work. Because the last thing I would want and the last thing you guys would want is for me to be burnt out and I start giving you guys very, very bad quality work. You guys get mad, you guys leave bad reviews, you guys talk shit about me, and it doesn't help anyone at the end of the day. All right. So yeah, I'm gonna try to do Asia tonight. If I don't see anything for Asia tonight, guys, I'll probably just be active tomorrow. Not trading, but I'll be active, and then just be back on Monday. All right. Once again, guys, I'm so sorry for such a messy day today. We could have definitely avoided the loss this morning. Once again, it was a good trade. I'm not mad about the trade at all. It was a good loss, but we could have definitely avoided that loss and been super great on the day today. So I really apologize, guys. Seriously. So you don't get burnt out, David. Just fire it up, bro. David, I think it was a good trade at the end of the day. Yeah, I believe no matter what, guys, both of these trades that we took today, we didn't overtrade, we didn't revenge trade, we didn't do anything, guys. We respected both of our rules with the first two trades. Obviously, like I said, with the first trade, we made a little bit of a mistake, which was very unfortunate. We were quick to catch on to the mistake. We fixed it. We did it better in this trade. We made all of our profits back and more, and we're happy for the day, guys. So honestly, bro, I will take it, bro. It's been a long ass day, dude. I think the issue with people crying is that they think they can like replicate you 1-to-1. So they go 10 contracts deep and they're new to this and they're very selective and only take some trades. Dude, it can vary, bro. Just the thing is, I feel like I repeat myself in every single stream, bro. A lot of people just don't agree with my trading style. A lot of people just don't agree with my risk reward, which is fine. Like I said, that's the good thing about trading, right? You can do whatever you want, compared to other people, and then you can still make it work, right? So although not many people agree with my trading style, we still make it work, right? We still have a high win rate. We can have a low RR, high win rate, or a low win rate, high RR, right? It's either or, right? So for my trading style, I'm a scalper. I get in and out of trades fairly quick. All right. So yes, although my risk reward is not the best and everything, and I do know it, right? It's just the way I've traded and I've adapted to trading for the last 6 years. Like I said, guys, if you don't agree with it, obviously maybe my style is not for you and all that good stuff. But what gets annoying is people join my stream every single day. They wait for me to take a loss. They say some shit. I get a win. As you guys see right now, we got a win. My YouTube chat is literally dead. No one is typing. But the second the loss comes around, oh, David, your risk reward sucks. Oh, David, you suck at trading. Oh, David, this setup sucks. It's the same thing every single time. So it does get a little bit annoying. Obviously, I don't really fall into the rage bait, I guess you could say. Like, I don't really care what anyone says. It's not going to change the way I trade. It's not going to change the way I make my money. But obviously, when I'm trying to teach you guys and I have like these negative comments in the chat every single time, it does get a little bit frustrating, at least for you guys, I would say. Right. So yeah, what's the percent of contracts I should trim after the first PT? I usually like to do like 50 to 70% of your contracts. All right. So yeah, they're fans of you. I don't like to look. I don't call you guys my fans. I don't believe in a thing called fans. You guys, I like I said, I see you guys as friends. I see you guys as family. We all trade together. We all make money together. But dude, when I have someone that doesn't like my trading and they're joining my streams every single day, like they watch the whole stream, bro, it's like a fan, bro, like dead ass. but yeah. Once again, I don't really care about it, but once again, if I'm trying to like teach you guys, I always want like a positive environment. I want you guys to have your vibes up always, whether it's a win or a loss. We got to keep our energy up. You know what I mean? Because if your energy is down, for example, if you close your eyes right now, right? Like close your eyes, right? And I tell you, okay, the first thing when you guys open your eyes, the first thing you need to look for is the color red. You're gonna ignore everything else. So obviously, if your vibes are down, the only thing you're gonna be looking for is just negative stuff. You're gonna be a negative Nancy, right? Try not to be that person, right? So even if there's a loss, be positive about it. There's always a lesson in every loss. For example, today, right? You guys didn't hear me crying about a loss. I told you guys, okay, hey, we made a mistake. So be it. We're not gonna force an entry. We're just gonna wait for the next setup. We made our loss back. All right, guys. So yeah, just try not to be that person that no one likes in the chat, right? But yeah, I'm still in a few contracts. How does this look? I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. We did sweep liquidity at 459, which was just created. But this was liquidity that came with news. So we took it out. I took profits here. And then we obviously are pumping up from the oil sweep. So we're probably going to try to reverse back up, especially if we break above this high up here. So yeah, just be careful, bro. Like I said, obviously, if the trade is up over 90 points, more than a 1-to-1, obviously, you should have probably gone break even by now. But yeah. But yeah. And here's the funny thing. Look at this, guys. Like, once again, I personally don't care about it. Like, but it's just funny to see. Like, bro, look at this. Heart, pray, lose. And then nowhere to be found. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't understand that part. Like, people only... It's like I only see people that come up in the chat when a loss comes around. If not, I just never see them. You know what I mean? I just don't understand that. Like I said, I don't really care. I don't even know these people. This is on RP server, so I don't really give a shit. But it's funny to see. You know what I mean? Like I just don't get it. Same thing goes here. I mean, the trade almost got stopped out. Obviously, it was a pullback for the MSS model. Nowhere to be seen here. Look, if you go here, you can probably even see them. Look at this. Corbin, Balas, Ba, Gobler, Toms, and Airy. In fact, bro, this Airy guy is fucking hilarious, bro. I can't really click on it. Hold on, let me show you guys something. Look at this, guys. You guys want to see what I have to deal with on a day-to-day basis, guys? Hold on, I don't want to open up my DMs. Okay, yeah, actually, okay. Look at this, guys. Let me show you guys something. All right, look at this. Look, so yeah, look, and watch this. This is what I have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. All right, guys, watch. I'm so serious. Look at this. Right, yesterday, the trade from yesterday. Right, we saw a little bit of drawdown. I told you guys, hey, it's gonna be normal as long as we don't go above the stop loss. We're good. Right, our bias will remain bearish. Right, the trade sees the pullback because I told you guys, hey, the trade's gonna see the pullback for the MSS model. We need the MSS model, so we're gonna see a little bit of drawdown with our entry. Right, this guy has the audacity. Where is it? Ah, oh, don't tell me it's not here, bro. Wait, hold on. Bro, where is it? Hold up, guys. Bro, because I need to show you guys. It's hilarious that, with the babies that I have to babysit every single day, bro. Um, damn, bro, it disappeared, bro. Hold on. Maybe I can just like. Hold on, guys. Let me see if I can like pull this up here. Um, I could probably do like. Oh, but let me disable stream mode real quick. No, because I really want like you guys should stay for this. Like it's gonna be hilarious. You guys are gonna have a really really good laugh out of this. From I just can't get his ID. I think you go here. Oh, right here, right here, right here. Okay, are you guys ready for this? Prepare yourselves, guys. Please prepare yourselves. All right. Once again, this message is from yesterday's trade. I told you guys, expect drawdown, right? We need the MSS model, which is why I told you guys size light, the trade is gonna be riskier. Look at this, guys. All right, are you guys ready? Are you? I can't say it on YouTube, bro. Shitty ass trade at 10:46. Then wait. Then this was at 10:46, right? Wait, no, actually, he DM'd me after. The trade goes into profit. He sees the trade goes into profit, and then he leaves the server. Like, bro, are people this in denial? Like, look, I understand if you don't like my trades or if you don't do my trading style, that's one thing. But doing this and then seeing the trade work out and then you get so embarrassed that you leave the server, like, bro, there is no shot, bro. Like this is what makes my day, bro. Like I find it hilarious. You know what I mean? Once again, I don't really care what people say. Like, it doesn't really affect how I make money and doesn't affect how I teach you guys. If you guys are with me, you know, God bless you guys. I love you guys. But damn, bro, like, like, bro, there's no shot, bro. And he blocked me. I tried adding him and I can't even add him. Wait. Oh no, I can't. Yeah, I tried adding him yesterday. I unfriended someone to add him so I can see his thought process. And no, bro, look, this message could not be delivered. Send a friend request first to start the conversation once they've accepted. And he blocked me. Like, dude, like, is this what I have to do? Is this what how you guys are, bro? Like, over, not even a stop loss trade, a drawdown trade, bro. Like what? Huh? Dude, I find it hilarious, but like, deadass, like, it makes my day. It's been a while. I went 10 for 1 this week. I appreciate the value you've given. Hey, bro, much love, Saint, bro. God bless you, bro. And God bless everyone in here. Seriously, man. Hey, bro, take it easy, bro. Have an amazing day, dude. I'm about to get off too, bro. Dude, I need you off of this markets, bro. Like, seriously. Let me see. Don't give me any screen time. Like I said, bro, I don't really care, dude. I don't give a shit, dude. At the end of the day, I'm probably gonna forget about his message in 5 minutes from now, bro. You know what I mean? I just like to show it to you guys so you guys can see a realistic day in the life of Blast Street Trades, bro. But yeah, but we keep pushing, man. We keep making money, man. Seriously, no, I'm very grateful that we somehow end the green today, bro. Like dead ass, dude. What a day, dude. But yeah, other than that, guys, bro, I'm gonna get off, dude. I'm gonna go buy some, I don't know, some Chipotle or something, dude. I think I've deserved. I think I've earned it, bro. I'm fucking starving. Yeah, guys, I'm gonna get off, guys. I will be back on for Asia later tonight, guys. I'll probably be doing another review stream at 4 p.m. So if you guys do want to tune in, guys, I will be on later today for another stream. So I'll see you guys then. All right, guys. But other than that, guys, it's been a good day. It's been a tricky day, but it's been a good one. So yeah, guys, I'll see you guys later today. All right, guys. Peace, guys. Take it easy, guys. God bless you guys, and much love from me. All right, guys. Peace, guys.